on this episode of Podigious.
JP is the worst character, but the show respects him more than Zoe.
Yep.
So in the end, he kind of comes off better, but you're like, no, show, I'm not going to let you trick me like that. You get the heck out of here.
Silly rabbit, legendary warrior spirits are for kids.
So then he would... Really? You'd do that with Cherubimon?
If it's a one-time thing.
Password. You can use mine to get on the internet.
Podigious.
Forever united as one. Digimon, together the battles are won. Digimon, through us let your spirit evolve. We're all for one world, there's a world for us all. We're all for one world, there's a world for us all. Digimon.
Welcome to Podigious, episode 408, Blood, Sweat, and Frontiers.
Digimon Frontier Season Review.
Recorded August 12th, 2017.
Podigious is your critically nostalgic analytical tour through the desolate wasteland known as the Frontier. I'm Jeff Ruberg, and I'm joined by our happy little buffalo Trailmon, Ashley McDonald.
Is this some racist joke about Native Americans?
What? It's a reference to Matt's dad listening to Buffalo, and the fact that Ashley is so happy and cheerful all the time and never grumpy or angry.
Never grumpy or angry.
The thing is, I wrote this way in advance, and I was like, there's a high chance that she'll be grumpy, and then...
I'm so grumpy.
Our rabbi Trailmon, Asher Softman.
Okay, but you could have written Rabbit Trailmon and it still would have been accurate.
Yeah, I really thought it said rabbit. And I was like, what? It would have went better with buffalo. I don't know, man.
And our secret little brother, birthday Trailmon, Andrew Softman.
On this day, 26 years ago, I hatched from my Digi-egg.
Hey, wait, do Trailmon hatch from Digi-eggs? I guess so.
I mean...
It's unclear.
They evolved from other forms.
yeah,
I wonder,
from some baby.
There should be, custom babies that are, little baby trains.
Baby trains.
I think those would be wheels.
This week, we're looking at the entirety of Digimon Frontier, so here's a quick recap.
We look to the past as we head towards the future to reclaim the digital world.
With faith in ourselves and trust in each other, we live by the lessons we've learned.
As we work towards one solution through a spirit evolution.
I am the one.
I am the one, Digimon.
Forever united as one, Digimon.
Together the battles are won, Digimon.
Through us, let your spirit evolve.
If we're all for one world, there's a world for us all.
If we're all for one world, there's a world for us all.
Digimon.
Did anyone else feel like Asher's voice sounded like... I felt like I was in a school assembly.
He was giving a religious...
Oh, that's what it was. That's what it was. Yeah.
Well, that's what it is. That's exactly what it is.
That's
when you
your
have
job.
to change it to make it sound not like you're reading a poem, you gotta when you're reading a reading and you don't want it to sound like a song, that's what you have to do.
No, Asher's just been tainted by all his rabbis.
It's Saturday, not Sunday school now.
Well, it's Saturday, which means it's Shabbat, which means you're all bad Jews.
It's true.
I am a bad Jew, it's true.
I don't think my family ever had the ambition of doing that. Are there Saturday morning services for Shabbat?
Yes.
Okay.
That's actually more traditional.
Anyway, so before we start the episode, I just wanted to let everyone know that we are doing a end of the season podcast survey like we did last year. And I can't remember if last year was the first year we did it. Anyway, there are going to be a bunch of questions about just opinions about how the fourth season of the podcast has been going, what you've liked, what you haven't liked, and things so we can improve it for the next season. And we encourage everyone to check it out, to fill it out. Every question will be optional, so you don't need to, it might be a bit long, but you can just fill in the things that interest you and skip over everything else. And everything you put into that will help us make the podcast better in the future. So please do that. You can get to it by we have a link in the show notes, but you can also just type in bit.ly/frontier_survey. And that should bring you there. So please do that. Digimon Frontier.
Sucks.
What do we think?
Bad.
It existed.
It sure was a thing that happened.
Squandered all its potential.
I'll go. Yes. I had.
I think Asher, you had the highest. I I don't want to say expectation, but the highest like
It was an
appreciation for the season?
expectation. Yes.
Asher doesn't have expectations.
Yeah, exactly.
No, I actually had very low expectations because I remembered that the pacing was really bad. But even with those low expectations that I had and my nostalgia goggles, it was still worse than I expected. Yeah.
Digimon always finds a way to surprise you.
I guess so.
Ashley, do you have anything more to elaborate on than just bad?
I mean, in terms of expectations, I feel like it was about on par, right? I came into this being like, I gave up on this season, basically. And I think I had been hopeful that as an adult, I would be more tolerant of whatever happened. But no, I think if I hadn't had to watch this for the podcast, I would have been like, oh my God, I'm giving up after 5 episodes because these kids are terrible.
Do you feel like on that front, though, like the terribleness was worth sticking through it? That there was a point to it and that they got, like, there was a value in having that terribleness? No? Okay.
No. I mean, it's like, sure, they get better, but there's like maybe a span of 10 episodes that are worth watching, and then why there's no.
So Andrew, what were your expectations, and how did this rewatch meet them?
I thought it was just going to be average, and then somehow it kept getting worse. To the point where I stopped paying attention. Like, there were points where I stopped paying attention because it really didn't matter much.
I was surprised that, looking back, I went back and listened to our first episode, like episode 001, where we talked about all the different seasons. And in that episode, I was very hyped about Frontier. I was like, it's a better version of Adventure and all this stuff. And so then I went back and listened to 400, which is the one we recorded right before we started rewatching Frontier. I was surprised that I had already like adjusted those expectations before we started. Like going into the season, I feel like I actually haven't changed that much. I went into it being like, it's probably going to be disappointing. And then I was like, yeah, it was about as disappointing as I expected. It was about like, there are very few things that I'm like overwhelmed in a good or a bad way. I feel like the word that describes kind of the entire experience of Frontier is blandness, in a way that isn't entirely negative, but it's just there.
Okay.
And yeah, I think overall, like the way I think about Frontier now is that like, I still have a ton of nostalgic fondness for it because like I found it when I thought Digimon was dead, and it brought me back into like, oh, there's going to be, and I think it also, I had the experience of watching it that I did not have for the first 3 seasons, which was of coming into it midstream and then having to like just like put the pieces of the puzzle together. And I think that's like kind of in some ways a more fun way to experience a show than just like Adventure I caught from episode 2 and then the other ones I watched week to week. And I assume most of us were similar in that. I assume that's how most of us watched Digimon when we watched Digimon, was seeing all of it. Am I right on that?
I didn't see season 1 from the start.
Oh.
Ash and I started from episode 2 of season 1.
No, I'd caught season 1 in reruns, so I picked it up in the middle of it.
So yeah, do you think that like the experience of watching something by picking up in the middle and then having to piece it together was a better or more interesting experience as a kid?
It can be, because you kind of like I've done it with other shows too, you know. Unfortunately, I'll say Grey's Anatomy, because it's a pretty big one that I remember doing it for, where I was actually not trying to piece it together though. Like I just annoyingly ask my mom like, why is this happening and stuff, and she'd be like, shut up, like I'm trying to watch this show. But then I eventually went back and rewatched all of it, so I guess it worked. Sure.
I think the main thing that it adds by experiencing that way is like it makes everything feel a bit more complex, and like even if it's a very straightforward, simple narrative like Adventure, it can feel like a much like more worthwhile thing to explore by watching in that way. So like my impression of when I think about this season in my heart, it feels like a more complex season because how I first experienced it.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I mean, yeah, I guess that was true of Adventure. I did pick up Frontier from the beginning, from what I remember though, and I remember just mostly being intrigued because they didn't have partner Digimon, and I was like, oh, interesting. What? Please tell me more. What?
And I also think that Frontier, I mean, it was obviously ambitious. I mean, it was risky not having the partner Digimon, but I think it was also ambitious in the plot structure, in having like not so much self-contained arcs. For one of the questions we'll get to later, I had to split up the series into arcs, and it's actually fairly hard because there aren't really self-contained chunks of the show. Everything kind of slides into each other, aside from like the big shift once Trigon's defeated, and then it switches to Royal Knights. But aside from that one basic point, everything flows fairly logically and is like lots of minor shifts instead of Digimon is kind of not notorious, but like the standard for Digimon is like, they defeat Devimon. Okay, now they do something completely different almost. And so I think it's kind of ambitious in that regard, but bland and lackluster everywhere else. So that's Frontier. Do we have any biggest disappointments?
All of it.
Yeah, like the plot.
All of it. The characters, like.
No, it has to be like one specific thing that was like not like the whole like one specific thing that like really disappointed you.
Not going past their character development at a certain point.
You mean like the fact that
they had character development, but they didn't go beyond their character development. Like they could have done more with them.
Do you mean for all the kids or specifically Tommy Joey?
Joey. Hey.
And just wrote out the one girl.
Can Joey be a girl's name? Maybe not.
It can. It's rare.
I do know a female Joey. I don't know if that's her actual name, but she goes by Joey.
But anyway, so you're talking about specifically about Tommy, JP, and Zoe having like one episode of character development and then them abandoning that, or Takuya and Koji
all
and
of
Koichi
them
as well? Yeah.
Yeah. Nobody had real character development.
Yeah, that's how I would put it. So like,
it was more like character insight.
And even
go far.
Character info dumps on themselves.
Yeah.
I feel like insight into characters is a form of character development, but
but they didn't go that much further.
Yeah. And the way they doled it out in like one specific episode with flashbacks was very lackluster, amateurish.
Yes.
Like
it was lazy.
Yeah. It is. It's possible to integrate that into the rest of the story and not require that conveyance.
Yeah, like Adventure did it better.
Right.
And Adventure was still episodic, and like you still had a formula, but they did it better.
Right. Like they found a way in that episodic formula to put in character. And we had episodes in the season about each character. Like they each got their own episode when they got their human spirits and when they got their beast spirits and stuff. But like we didn't really learn much about their characters from that. And then it was like a massive shift to the Skakamon arc, which is also frustrating because like they by that arc when they get the character development marks the point where they're also useless. Like in that same arc is when they don't get fusion spirit evolutions. Yeah. We asked this question to our listeners, and by far the number one overwhelming answer was frustration with having only Takuya and Koji getting fusion and union evolutions, and how it just becomes about them towards the end of the show.
Even the toy line was better.
I have a question. Did they fill in these answers themselves, or did you provide them a list?
Okay, it is complicated.
All right, then I don't care. I don't care.
It does. There was a bit of a snowball effect because it was freeform initially on most of the social. On I think this question. On like Twitter, it's worth illustrating how these all work in general. Like I asked the question without any way to have a pre-filled in answer on like Twitter, Facebook, and Tumblr, and some on Reddit. And then based on the answers that people wrote in specifically, then I opened a poll that had things you could just click based on what other people had already written. So so there was probably a snowball effect of like 5 people said this, and then it was like the number one answer when people went to go click the poll. Yeah. Gotcha.
Did the poll have a write-in option?
Yes.
Okay.
For this one.
Gotcha.
So, and some of the other people are frustrated about Zoe in general. I was surprised with this guy. I didn't really think about it too much, about how they don't really use the evil spirits. The other 4 spirit, once they defeat them, they don't use them at all. And especially, I guess as I mentioned later, but like a bunch of people in these various polls pointed out how there are 4 unused spirits, right? And there are 4 unchosen children they meet. And even the gender breakdown matches. And that...
Whoa!
Oops.
I never thought of that.
Yeah, it's like I don't know who to attribute it to, because it wasn't just one person, it was like multiple people, and yeah, that fits way too well. It's
whoops.
Yeah. Oops. I mean, it just seems like, I wonder if they ever had that idea and then we're like, oh, well, that's too hard to implement, so let's scrap it, and it's like half implemented and let's leave it that way, or if it's just like a funny coincidence. Who knows? Writers not caring was not a popular one. Yeah. So anyway, any good surprises, pleasant surprises?
Tommy.
Yeah.
That's also the listener's number one answer.
Tommy, best character. Good.
I don't agree with Ashley.
He's not the best character.
Nah.
Who's the best character if it's not Tommy?
It's still Tommy.
Jeff's gonna say like Takuya.
Takuya. Another common answer from listeners was Pokemon and Neymon not being as bad as they thought or expected. A bunch of people who actually enjoyed Spirit Evolution as a concept. Also, that not having partner Digimon meant they were able to focus more on interpersonal dynamics. Yeah.
I'm not sure I agree with that.
Yeah, but they sucked at that.
Yeah. The potential was there.
I agree in one respect. I mean, I think it has credence outside of this one respect, but I think definitely in one respect, which is that it meant their interpersonal dynamics were able to take the forefront during battles in a way that couldn't really happen as easily when their battles are proxy battles through other Digimon.
Okay, that's fair. You're thinking of Matt and Ty.
Just in general, like coordination and teamwork and stuff. Because I don't think we didn't really get any of the characters fighting. Oh no, that's not true. We got a couple of different instances of being possessed or going berserk, but we never got any willful fighting against each other in the season.
In this season.
Yeah.
Were you about to quote the movie?
No, I was thought we were still talking about season 1.
I've watched Digimon, Ash.
No, you haven't.
Yeah, it's true. It's
I don't know, but I'm trying to be like, Ty and Matt's stuff is so much more dramatic, even though they are just fighting by proxy, like when they're mad at each other. It's...
But what I don't mean is the direct fight. I'm saying the direct fighting. I think it's the general teamwork stuff. On the other hand, I do think 02 did the teamwork stuff well, but I also think it didn't really communicate that well. But the fact that like they're only able to defeat Black or Greymon once they've all individually paired up and like work together to like all 3 DNA Digivolutions come together to defeat him shows how much they leveled up their teamwork and stuff. But it's not really through them actually all. We don't see that through the actual battle. It's kind of just like attack, fail. Now attack with all 3 of them, win. And so like, but here
They didn't beat him.
I don't know.
They chased him.
I actually disagree with that a little. I think season 2 does the teamwork thing very well.
No, I do. I just
season
think
2 for life.
I mean, I do have a season 2 bias, but they do a lot of environmental things that require teamwork. And they also, despite having still to fight by proxy, there's a lot of riding into battle in season 2.
Oh yeah.
So there's some
an
of
alarming
that.
amount.
Yeah.
Way too much.
They're 11. It's fine.
It's not just a game though. That's what villains think. Oh yeah.
So I don't know. I don't think season 4 did the teamwork thing that well, actually.
Yeah, I guess it really is just potential there, and it really is like, even though I feel like by nature of it not being proxy battles, that they're able to execute teamwork better. They're able to like illustrate teamwork better in battles. I don't think it was ever really that much of a plot point. Like there were a couple instances, but it was never that big of a theme.
And also, once Takuya and Koji got their multi-spirit stuff, it was over. Teamwork was over.
Well,
They were like, we discovered teamwork, now screw it.
Okay, wait. No, it's not that teamwork is over. Because in that one fight with Trubimon, there is a decent amount of teamwork between Takuya and Koji.
There's one instance of teamwork between Takuya and Koji.
I forget how did it go down? It was like Koji took all of the damage for Takuya.
Yes.
Isn't that just being a shield?
Yes.
Teamwork.
One instance of teamwork.
But yeah, after that, as I recall, they basically just split up and each fight their own enemy. And
Yeah.
My biggest surprise from the season is how much, and this is really a minor thing because it really does fall apart the more you look at it, but like how much Shubimon's plan holds up compared to other Digimon villain plans. The fact that he wanted to ultimately gather all the spirits together, and so sending out all of the evil spirits, they could have defeated the good guys and then taken the spirits and brought them back to him, or they could have lost and just, brought like in. I don't know. Either way, it got what Trailmon wanted, but the more you dig at it, the more it's like, okay, so really it's just that he was lazy and didn't want to leave. Like, that's not like a great ambition.
I wouldn't put it that way.
So basically, either the people who work for him are going to bring the spirits, or they all die and someone brings the spirits anyway.
No, I think it's mainly that he was, by like guarding Ophanimon, it meant that like in order to save Ophanimon, they had to come to him, basically.
Exactly.
Which isn't much of a plan.
No matter what, they were going to come.
Right. And like in the moment, it feels like a, wow, no Digimon villain has like been this competent in scheming in order to be like, oh wait, they've played into his plan the whole time. But then when you think about it, it's like, oh, so all he did was like camp out by Ophanimon. Okay.
But that's actually a legitimate strategy.
It is, but it's not that big of a deal.
Yeah, it is.
Okay.
Okay.
I don't want to give it too much credit.
My biggest surprise was just how much I liked Trailmon as a silly little villain.
He's a good villain. He's a good villain.
A silly little wabbit.
Silly little cute little rabbit thinks he's gonna take over the digital world. He's so cute.
Silly rabbit, legendary warrior spirits are for kids. It fit too well.
It's so disgusting.
I also really like Mercurymon's scheming. It feels a bit similar to Truemon's in that regard, that it was like he had layers on layers of plans, and they eventually break through all of them. But I like that he had multiple of them, even though it is not executed well, and some of them are not actually spelled out fully, and we're kind of inferring things. In regards to the Digimon they fight in Skakumon maybe not being real, or I guess it doesn't really matter to his scheming. But anyway, the fact that he puts them into himself, observes their attacks, and then uses that back on them, and tries to defeat Takuya to like cut off the head of the good guys. Anyway, there are basically like 3 levels of plans, and that was interesting, but meh. And now it is time for the Digi Final Feud. Digi Final Frontier Feud. Okay, so we have run 7 official rounds by this point, and we have, I'm not going to read out all these numbers, but the total score now is that the East Coast of this, what used to be called Coastal Clash, the East Coast of Asher and Andrew has a total of 2,906 points, and the West Coast of me and Ashley has 2,657. So I should have done that math beforehand.
You never participate.
I did one.
No, you did one, yeah.
Oh, okay. All right. Oh, yeah, I remember.
Okay, so the difference is 249 points. For this round, we're going back to the fast money style of Family Feud questions. So it'll be a bunch of rapid questions. And Asher and Ashley will be guessing the audience's most popular answers to listener favorite polls.
I am?
Yeah.
Okay. There's no choice? No choice this time? It's Andrew's birthday.
Nope, I am already looking at the document.
All right, fine.
That sigh.
For this round, 14 questions, 90 seconds on the clock. Each point is scaled up with a multiplier to make this round more risky and to make it so anyone can win, basically, which is kind of cheating. But
a little bit. Fine.
It's a shadow game.
All right, whatever.
I mean, that really is how Family Feud works, though. Is that
it is. Everyone has
the first 2 rounds. It doesn't matter because you can win in the third round.
The points just keep going up. I mean, you do still have a significant lead. And so the way it also works is the questions at the end. So the last 4 questions basically are, so the first 8 are worth 2x of a normal question from the other rounds, and then the last 4 are worth even more. So
I hate when you do that.
Well, they're harder questions, especially this time. So they're much harder to get, but it also means that like there's more pressure to finish in the time limit. So. Okay.
Ugh, I'm gonna mess it up.
Who's going first?
Ashley.
Ashley's going first? All right.
Jeff, you spelled Asher wrong.
How did you
It says Ashra. It's like old-timey.
I don't think that's how it would be spelled, old-timey. All right, so should I take my headphones off?
I'll message you in Slack when we're ready.
Cool.
Are you ready, Ashley? Get hype!
Maybe. I'm so scared. Okay.
Okay, here we go. I'll start the music once I finish reading the first question.
Yes.
Again, and just to frame everything, these are questions we asked all of our listeners. They are just phrased. Two of them are exceptions, but aside from those two, they're all superlatives. Like, what is your favorite thing, or what is biggest X, whatever. Okay, here we go. Favorite Digi destined. It's Frontier.
Tommy.
Favorite ship.
Zoe and Koji. I don't know.
Favorite human spirit.
Lobomon.
Favorite bee spirit.
Kendo Garurumon.
Favorite multi-spirit evolution.
Don't even remember what those are.
You can skip.
Skip.
Favorite celestial Digimon. 60 seconds left.
Celestial Ophanimon? Like
Favorite
that?
ally.
Gotsumon.
Favorite Trailmon.
Oh!
45 seconds left.
Angler.
Favorite enemy.
Duskmon.
Favorite Lucemon form.
Shadow Lord mode.
Favorite arc.
Duskmon.
Favorite episode.
Oh my god. 20. I don't know.
Biggest unanswered question. 20 seconds left.
Why does Koji's mom, why is she dead? Why they lie?
What is one thing you change? Is the last question. Do you have infinite time?
One thing I would change? I don't know. Shit. What would I change? So I get to answer it, right?
Yeah.
What would I change? God.
As a listener,
so
not
hard.
yourself.
It's so hard either way. What do they want to change?
That's why it's worth 5x the points.
Oh man. Damn. Give them partner Digimon? I don't know.
Okay, and now we can bring Asher back.
We're bringing Asher back. Yeah.
So take off all your yarmulkes.
Them other boys don't know.
Yo.
We started singing Sexy back in regards to bringing Asher back.
Well, that's accurate.
Oh.
Okay. Sorry that took longer. We had to clean out some answers to get them to fit into the spreadsheet. But on that note, are you ready?
Are you ready, kids?
Aye, aye, Captain.
I can't hear you.
Aye, aye, Captain.
All right, let's go.
Music will start once I finish the first question. Okay.
All right.
Favorite Digi destined.
Tommy.
Favorite ship.
It's a Koji.
Favorite human spirit.
Lobomon.
Favorite beast spirit.
Whatever Takuya's is.
Favorite multi-spirit. Yeah, you can pass.
Takuya's.
Do you mean Aldemon or Emperor Greymon?
Aldemon.
Favorite celestial Digimon. 60 seconds left.
Ophanimon.
Favorite ally.
Gotsumon.
Favorite Trailmon.
Franken.
Favorite enemy.
Cherubimon.
Favorite Lucemon form.
OG.
Favorite arc.
What?
Favorite arc.
Skip.
Favorite episode. 30 seconds left.
It's skip.
Biggest unanswered question.
This is our question?
It's worth 5x points, so.
Biggest unanswered question. Why?
What's one thing you change? 10 seconds left.
Everything.
Jesus.
Okay. You're making a mockery of this game.
Yeah.
I thought you'd actually have time to go back and fill in the ones you skipped, but
No.
He just was like, these ones are too hard. I give up.
let's tally the points. Okay, so we're not going to go through and look at every answer. We're going to go through these questions as we get through them in the show anyway. So we're just going to look at the totals. And Asher had 338 points. Ashley had 479. So trounced Asher in this round.
Good job, me. Did not overtake his overall points.
I haven't done the math yet, but there was a difference of 249. That was a difference of only a little over 100.
Yeah,
So-
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I must have gotten some points in the 5X, I think. So, Asher, if you hadn't given up on the 5X question.
I
mean, Ashley also was smart and just said a random number, just 20 for an episode. And then there were 0 answers for that, but
20 is off from the Takuya coming home episode, isn't it? It was 21, 22?
I think it's 22. It's 21 in Adventure.
Whatever.
Okay, so the final score for the season of Digimon Frontier Coastal Clash / Digi Feud / whatever we rebranded as retrospectively was East Coast, Asher and Andrew, Softman siblings, having 3,244 points, and Asher and Jeff on the West Coast, 3,136 points.
You just said Asher and Jeff.
you did.
You guys need to not have such similar names. Okay, and now I want to dive into some stats about the podcast. Hopefully not spend as much time on this as we did in the past, since I think I'm the only one who likes it. But
yeah.
So I broke down the podcast runtime per length of episodes that we are covering. And I was actually expecting this number to be really low and be like, oh yeah, because we're covering in such big chunks. We're so much more efficient, I guess, than Tamers. And we are much lower than Tamers. We'll have links to these images and graphs and everything in the show notes, so you can follow along with us if you want. But basically, looking at this, it's we are basically much lower than Tamers, but about the same point as 02, which I find kind of surprising.
What is this graph measuring? I'm so confused.
Time we spend recording over the length of the how many episodes we're recording. So that's why there's a huge spike. Over 13 for season 2 and 21 for season 1.
And so it's basically it's a bunch of flat lines, because it's for that chunk of episodes, the ratio was we talked for 1.2 times as, the episode we released was 1.2 times as long as just watching all those episodes, basically. So the Tamers, the highest was looks like a little bit under 3 times. Actually, all seasons had a peak that high because of episode 13 in season 2, episode 21 in season 1. I guess the Beelzemon showdown in season 3 and the Lucemon showdown in season 4, which we didn't actually talk about that arc that much. We just talked about other things regarding Frontier as a whole at that point. So yeah, I think it's mostly bogged down because I included the feedback episodes, which we had were much shorter in the first 2 seasons by virtue of just being in the episodes and not extra things. But yeah. Okay, and I also tallied up the character reference counts. And again, in the past, these are rough. These are just what I noted while editing the episodes, so it's not a surefire thing. But there are some kind of surprising results. I think when I mentioned whether I should gather this data to Ashley was like, it's just going to be Tommy. Tommy's always going to be number 1. That's all we talked about. And Tommy was number 1.
I was true.
But tied with Zoe and JP, which surprised me.
Because we keep talking about how they suck, though.
They get more mentions in our podcast than the actual show.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they weren't even in half the episodes. They just forgot to draw them.
Tommy is because we're we're so surprised that Tommy's actually good. JP and Zoe is we're so mad.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then Pokemon and Takuya tied for
Pokemon and Takuya, best buddies.
Pokemon and Takuya sitting in a tree. Moving on.
RTING.
That's the name one. And Koichi and Koji are tied somehow. I mean, it's cute.
Oh, that's cute.
Because they're brothers.
They're brothers? Spoiler.
Kari is the 8th Digidestined?
So I also broke
I'm surprised
down...
Kari's not on this chart.
I think there is a tail end of characters that I cut off, but that had less than 3 mentions. But yeah, I'm surprised there aren't really any other season characters, because I think we did have them in the past. In season 3, there were a bunch of season 2 characters and stuff like that. But this is all 2 Frontier characters, actually.
Look, Sunamon was so badass. He was
Yeah,
only
Sunamon,
in
yeah.
one episode, and he's
Yeah, wait.
got 4 mentions.
Apparently we mentioned him in enough detail in that episode 4 times. So,
Cool.
and then I also broke down our RDD picks that we submitted, like actually, mentioned on the show, broken down by the characters speaking them. And JP is like a clear winner there.
Yep.
Isn't entirely surprising. A little surprising.
No.
And then tied for second place is Bokumon, Takuya, and Zoe, which is a weird assortment.
It's not that weird when you consider how much they talk.
Yeah, it's true. You talk long enough in a Digimon dub, you'll eventually have silly jokes. And then I broke down the RDD wins. And there's a lot less data for that this season. I think I just didn't do as much of a good job of like reminding people to go vote for the RDD poll and stuff. So early on the season, there were a bunch of votes, and then it kind of dropped down after that. But I had 4 wins, Ashley had 3 wins, and Asher and Andrew had 0 wins.
Softman Bros, what's up?
Look, we've got the feud, you've got the RDDs.
It's true.
It's true, there we go.
It was actually pretty fun tallying up, like looking at the poll and seeing who'd won each time, because I was like, oh, me, oh, Ashley, oh, me, oh, and I was like, oh no, who's gonna win? And then I won, so it was fun. And then, okay, here's a more level playing field. This is RDD Lead Balloons by Host, which we had to explain to Andrew last season, I remember, because I listened to the episode.
I don't remember what this means.
I still don't know what the wait.
When
What does this mean?
when something goes over like a lead balloon, it means it falls flat. Because lead balloons don't fly.
Yeah, so these are the ones that got 0 votes.
Good.
Andrew had 2, I had 1, Asher had 1.
I excelled in something.
I have 0. Woo!
Yeah, Ashley had 0. I think that means she voted for her own one each time.
I did not.
Will you say that on a polygraph test?
Well, I honestly can't remember, but I feel like there were some times where afterward,
Whoa.
definitely when you told the lavender one, I was like, wait, that actually is really funny.
Yeah, that one's like just like dispiriting, like depressing to look at the number of people voted on that one compared to the other ones. And I also I asked listeners with a kind of impromptu poll, kind of foreshadowing the kind of stuff that'll be on the end of the season survey stuff, but a poll about what their favorite segment of the podcast was. And it looks like tied for first place actually was general impressions, host topics, and unanswered questions. Wait, what? Huh. I thought that was RDD, but yeah, it's unanswered questions, and then RDD is in second place. Huh.
This is actually different from previous seasons. Like, host topics was never that hot before.
Yeah. I guess we drove away everyone by talking about politics and the people who are left.
I'm not surprised RDD would drop if the quality of the the pool of picks is not as
True,
hot,
true.
You know? Yeah.
And then outtakes was after the next one in the ranking. How do we all feel? My favorite is host topics, but how does everyone else feel?
I mean, I've said this before, that outtakes are my favorite.
Outtakes. Oh boy. I don't know. I definitely wouldn't put general impressions that high just because.
Yeah.
I mean, general impressions are usually where you're like, oh, just kill me.
Well,
yeah, but
there's
it's
a reason.
discussion. See?
Should we rename general impression to unproductive discussion?
Yes.
Yeah.
So now, for our first, we're going to go through all the different aspects of the show. We're going to talk about humans. So I wanted to do a quick rundown of basically some quick character analysis of all the characters and what we think they are really about now that we've seen their entire run and taken a step back.
They're all about being less terrible people.
Except they suck at that.
Yeah, I think that is the general theme to them, but the execution is a little lacking.
Yeah.
So, okay, let's start with Takuya. I am trying to think about what Takuya is really about. I really want to like him.
It's very vague.
Yeah, I really want to like him.
There.
I think he is. I conclude that he's basically the blandest of the goggleheads.
Yeah, which is impressive.
Yeah, to be honest, that is true. That is fairly impressive.
Out of the ones we've seen so far.
That is true. Out of the ones we've seen so far, there is one that I think he's better than.
Whoa, no.
So when I say bland, I don't mean in a totally negative way. Because
Right,
there is
but
one I
he's
hate
just-
a lot more, but I think Takuya is still more bland than that one I hate.
Who's the one you hate?
Tagiru? He's the worst.
Who? What?
Tagiru.
Young Hungers.
Young Hunters.
Young Hunters.
Young Hunters. Is that like the third of Cross Wars? Okay.
Yeah.
The third half.
I don't even know that one.
He's like Davis, but like only the bad aspects of Davis.
Oh
And none of
no.
the good.
Well, he doesn't hit on the girls, so
Right,
that's
it's
something.
not all the bad aspects of Davis, but it's like if you took
But it's just
Davis's
bad aspects of Davis.
well, if you took
Period.
Davis's hero worship and just like made it his like primary defining aspect, and he never learned or like moved away from that, that's my impression of Tagiru.
Or Ash.
Yeah. What?
Basically, Tagiru is like, what if you took Davis's Adderall away from him?
After's not honoring
I
that.
can't connect to that. So yeah, when I say he's the most bland, I don't mean that in an entirely negative way, because I think he's just entirely average. Like I feel like if you took all of the other goggleheads, and just put them into a blender, he would be the personality average. Like
I think he's calmer than the average would get you, but
sure.
he does not stand out.
I feel like the only ways he stands out are like design wise.
Really?
Which I mean, I think is only. I think that there is a degree to that matters to kids, especially watching the show. Like the things that strike a cool image can leave a lasting impression, even if as adults we're like, there's nothing to his character. Like you kind of. Yeah.
I think there are goggleheads that strike a much more striking image than he does.
True. Yeah, it's up to taste. I just mean that like I'm trying to reconcile why I liked him more before and why this time I'm like I don't even remember anything distinctive about him.
He's a good dude. He's a good dude.
He's a good dude.
What I actively don't like about him is that, like, because he's so bland, I'm like, this is just such a generic story of, like, semi-okay bro dude discovers, like, oh, I can be a leader. And I'm like, ugh, no, shut up. Just stop. Like, get out of here.
I mean, by far, the best leader story we've had in Digimon is Tai. Like, it's an actual struggle with him. With Takuya, it's poorly put together. And it's really hard to know what he's about because he's pulled in so many different directions by different writers.
Yeah, and he comes to the digital world because he was bored. Like,
I mean, whatever. The motivations don't matter so much to me in that case.
Yeah. And Koji's the lone wolf.
Sort of.
In my notes, I wrote, so Matt, very Ishida. And
is he really? I guess.
So I think just looking at him in isolation, it's not too bad. He's not too similar. But I feel like in a lot of ways, looking at the season as a whole, it feels like they wanted to, looking at it like optimistically.
They wanted to bring the archetype back.
Not that they wanted to bring archetype back, that they wanted to like, so looking at it optimistically, I would say that they wanted to kind of like pay homage to Adventure and like, you know, redo the good things about it, but in like this new and fresh take. Pessimistically, I think you could probably read it as like they thought the surest way to cash back in after like maybe there was a ratings drop after season 3, probably. At least in the West, it seems like there definitely was, to try and cash back in on older fans who liked Adventure, is to reintroduce archetypes and elements. And there are a bunch of things across Frontier, like having an Angemon form die in episode 13. So in the context of all those different elements that feel like trying to reproduce things from Adventure, it feels like he is... Because the thing that I think of as like the biggest thing that he has to him over the course of the show is that he starts off extremely loner, and I think it is effective that by the end, you kind of look back to where he was in the beginning and you're like, oh, he's such an integral part of the team now that I kind of can't remember what it was like when he, you know, ran off on his own and didn't care to be with anyone. So I feel like they effectively sold that change in his position, I guess. But it wasn't really through like him changing. It was kind of just through like over time we just got used to it, I think.
I was about to say, I feel that it's more that by episode 10, he kind of abandons those lone wolf things, and you just kind of like, you spend 40 episodes of him not being like that. So
See, when I see Koji, I mean, yeah, the Matt callbacks are there because of his his spirit. No, because of his spirit mostly. Because when I see him, the archetype I see isn't the lone wolf necessarily, but rather the samurai. And I think that maybe I only think that that is more of what he's about, because it's more fun to think about for me than the lone wolf trope. Because I don't know, I'm bored with the lone wolf trope. I don't know about you guys.
It can be done well.
It can be done well. And I think actually in Koji's case it was. I think the subtle him getting used to being with the group is actually, of the 6 humans we have, like, I actually think he might have had the most character development, like, most realistic character development.
And character development, you mean, like, change, right?
Yeah, that kind of development. Not the development of a character,
right.
Like revealing him to us. I mean, the character developing as a person. But no, we don't have the character revealed to us. We don't have a lot of that with Koji, actually. So I don't know.
Yeah.
And I mean, and also we had another loner last season. So I don't know if it's totally fair to say it's a standard archetype. You always got to have your loner.
Yeah, let's say
True.
Rika was like a way more extreme version of Lone Wolf for a while there.
Yeah, like a lot.
Yeah.
But Rika was, better, just generally. So.
Of course.
I could say that I really liked Koji as a child, but now I'm like, whatever, Koji. You're a dude, I guess.
Yep, I feel like that is, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like that is the, like, cool iconic image effect.
Yes.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
That's how it was for me, at least.
Absolutely.
Koji is this season's Rio.
No.
Well, yeah, technically.
But I mean, and that's what I was saying about Takuya, too. I feel like it applies to, like, most of the things I liked about Frontier, actually. Like, the reasons I liked Koichi, the reasons I liked Takuya, the reasons I liked Koji. It's all...
You liked Koichi?
Koichi doesn't look cool, Jeff.
Yeah, Koichi.
Okay.
Koichi exists.
The smell of Duskmon hasn't, like, completely faded from him yet.
Okay.
I'm still entranced by that smell. I'm taking it to weird places.
You like sniff Duskmon a lot there, buddy?
Are you saying something wrong with that?
I think he said the spell of
No.
Duskmon.
No. I said smell. I meant smell.
Yeah, no, he definitely said
Really?
Yeah, I meant smell.
What does that mean?
I meant like there was like some kind of like what's the word I'm looking for? The thing that animals have that like attracts them to each other? A pheromone?
Pheromones?
Like,
What?
Podigious is not your critically acclaimed scientific podcast.
Are you saying that I can't feel the pheromones through a children's cartoon?
I'm saying...
Asher can't talk anymore, so he's not saying anything.
I am very
You
concerned.
killed Asher. You killed him.
So moving on to Zoe.
Zoe, the worst.
Yeah, I feel like
Actually, the worst is
And
JP.
Yeah.
The second worst. Zoe.
It's not her fault.
No,
They
I
tried.
feel like Zoe actually, like, there are many moments of, like, her being in her situation. Like, I relate to what she, like, has to say and, like, how much it sucks for her to be in that position. It's just, like, so frustrating to keep seeing her put in that position and to keep seeing her depowered, ineffective. These are things that, like, I didn't even notice, really.
Smacking Digimon with her butt.
Yeah, smacking the Digimon with her butt, like... Yeah, that's something that, like, as I don't know, my natural viewing state, I never really registered that as being that different from other attacks, and that's.
Oh, come on!
No,
Really?
right. I mean, I think it's because I naturally zone out during fights.
Oh.
Yeah, so I never really registered. So I really appreciate hearing this perspective. Like, oh yeah, once I realized that, like, her attacks are really frustrating. They're really silly. I also never really registered on initial watch or on rewatch that, like, she in her episode where she gets her evolutions is not the one. Well, actually, sorry, her first evolution she gets when she unlocks Kazemon is not the one to defeat the Woodmon, and then when she unlocks Zephyrmon, doesn't actually defeat Kalmarmon right away, and so, like, every time she gets something, she is less effective than everyone else. And that is, like, incredibly frustrating. Like, I don't know. The fact that I didn't notice that upon initial rewatch, it doesn't do anything to excuse that. Like, I'm curious, without looking at it from, like, a broader perspective, did you guys notice those things in the moment?
Yeah.
Okay.
She didn't defeat the Woodmon, sure.
Koji had to come in and
like
save her.
as a kid, I noticed.
Oh, as a kid? Okay.
Yeah.
And did it like frustrate you as a kid?
I think it didn't frustrate me. It did feel weird.
As in, like, looking back at it now, I'm just like, did they feel like I don't see why you would construct it that way. Like, I don't know, especially coming off from Rika.
Because they
like,
ship Koji and Zoe.
Wouldn't it be so cool if they were like effective together and not him having to save? Anyway,
Teamwork.
So actually, just like on this note of Zoe being so never getting as much power as everyone else and never getting as much opportunities as everyone else, I actually found a listing of the times, basically a rundown of when Digimon are scanned by whom. And this was aggregated by at Allison Mack on Twitter, who was also with the Will admin Vande. And so thank you very much for gathering that. And I basically aggregated it so now we can see that. So Takuya, and this is Takuya in all of his different forms too. Takuya scanned 14 times, Koji 8, and then all the way down to Zoe twice. Zoe and Tommy both twice. Yeah. In my memory, it was actually, I only remember the one time when she scans Ranamon, but I guess she also scans Kamarimon the episode before, so. Yeah.
Koichi gets more than her. Koichi!
I think, to be fair, one of those times is as Bestmon. I think it counts as the Arbormon. Is Arbormon a Digimon?
Yeah.
What?
Yes.
Yes.
My brain is falling asleep, I guess. Yeah. So that's frustrating. And one thing we've like brought up in passing before is like the idea that fundamentally by only having one character, that character is inevitably, by only having one female character, that female character is inevitably going to be this lacking. And I don't know. I don't think I think Zoe is worse beyond just being the only female character. Like, because like imagine if like Rika were the only female character, that would still be pretty amazing. It would still suck on other levels, but like, I just think that there are multiple levels to Zoe being disappointing and frustrating. And yeah.
Well,
and
like,
also,
Rika has much more going for her as a just like character development and like respect level from the show, whereas Zoe has
so much respect.
Like no character development really, plus the show does not like at all respect her.
And
right, so
and I'll point out that like Zoe is a girly character and Rika is not.
Yeah.
And I, going back to Adventure, Mimi is a girly character and Sora is not, and which one gets a little closer to being important?
But now everybody's come around to Mimi.
Yeah, I'd say that's kind of shifted in Try, at least.
Yeah, sure. After 15 years?
After 15 years, we realize our mistakes.
Yeah.
Mimi was the better girl all along.
It's true, though.
And in regards to Zoe's character development, it frustrates me because I feel like the situation and this is basically just her backstory that is illustrated in one episode and never touched again until the epilogue, I guess. The situation she's in there where she's initially from Japan, but she's been in Italy for a while, and she comes back and she's not used to the social norms and the things like bridging that culture gap and doing what she thinks is polite, but then is seen by other people as not polite. And like, that is a tough situation. That is like a fairly complex thing for a kid's show at this level, and is treated just like the answer is just be yourself. And it's like, no, that's what she was always doing. What do you know? Execution is so bad. And it smells like a dub-ism. I
was just wondering, is that what it actually was originally?
Yeah, I feel bad I haven't had time this season to research such things. I would be curious to look up in the original. I also fall behind on podcast, so I haven't listened to Lost in Translation Month's episode about these episodes. I should do that to see about that, because that seems like, I don't know, I'd be surprised if that's not from the dub, but also I wouldn't be surprised, because so much of the poor writing from Frontier comes from multiple levels. So JP, speaking of poor writing coming from multiple levels,
JP is the worst character, but the show respects him more than Zoe.
Yep.
So in the end, he kind of comes off better, but you're like, no, show, I'm not going to let you trick me like that. You get the heck out of here. That's how I feel about JP.
He also does the most that is like aggressively annoying. Like all the kids are kind of rude to each other and like in an off-putting way in the beginning of the series. and that eventually wears off and they become more endearing and work to get well together. But JP, even till the end, still keeps up his unwanted advances on Zoe in a way that is just, I get, it's supposed to be funny, right? Like, it's supposed to be funny how much he likes her and how unrequited that is. Has it ever been? I don't think it ever was, at least to us, presumably to some kids.
It's so annoying because I feel like the most empowerment that Zoe gets is in the moments where she shuts JP down. But then JP gets better moments because he has, like, eloquent soliloquies given at times, and you're like, oh, you seem like a good person there. Still hate you, but, like, cool, I guess.
Yeah, and, like, right, it's like JP just acting like a, like, you know, saying anything of reason is like, whoa, JP, I'm so proud of you, like, golf clap, because you, like...
Well, it's also the way that the show presents it as like,
oh, no,
golf
I'm
clap
saying,
JP.
Yeah,
like,
the show does it too. Yeah, the show is like, whoa, like, I mean, Zoe is literally like, I didn't think you could say anything profound. Like, I didn't think you, like...
Yeah.
could say things of, it's like, wow, he is praised for the most basic of things. I mean, it wasn't the most basic. It was like a pretty insightful moment and whatever, but like, it's still pretty frustrating. Yeah. I also just, I get so frustrated with JB because I relate to him so much in the abstract. Not like when he's actually doing things, I'm like, I don't relate to at all. But like on paper, I was a big chubby kid. My name started with J. Where else does it go? I covered up my like inability to make friends in humor and in like fake overconfidence. And the fact that I like relate on all those levels and still find him incredibly frustrating. I mean, I think Ash has mentioned before that like I think Ash, you mentioned like you think it's because I relate to him on all those levels. I'm more put off by when he acts poorly, when he acts like a bad boy. But and there's a degree to which that's true. But I also just feel like when the joke is that JP is like hitting on Zoe and it's unrequited, it's doing nothing other than like it's demeaning Zoe and also making fun of JP for liking her that much, and him not like, and also for like his bit of character development to be about how he displays overconfidence to cover up the fact that he can't, or he struggles to make friends, for this other aspect that like is the defining other aspect of his personality to be about him overconfidently pursuing Zoe. And it's never addressed about how does he actually feel about like his prospects with girls or with Zoe, or like, nope, it's just always a joke. He just loves Zoe so much he's gonna imagine them getting married and everything. It's like it really feels like someone, you know, like laughing from the outside instead of writing a character with to endear sympathy towards them. And in the course of the discussion, I realized it's a creepy similarity to another character on the Goldbergs, which I don't want to go too much into because I don't think anyone else watches it. But it's like, it's even creepier because that show is set in my hometown, and the character I'm thinking of is named Jeff and hits on one of the main characters. Like, the joke is that he keeps hitting on her, and she's always like, "No, I don't want to date you, Jeff." And then eventually he gets a girlfriend, and then she's like, "Oh, but now I do." And that's
stupid.
It's stupid. It's pretty stupid. Also, his name is spelled Jeff with a G instead of a J. I couldn't even say G correctly there because I was like,
yeah,
oh, that's
you
so
didn't
wrong.
Say G. You just said G. G.
It's so wrong. The idea of spelling Jeff with a G is so wrong to me. I can't imagine it.
Cool.
Did Koichi have any character development?
No, that's
barely. Like a smidge.
Did he?
I feel like his entire character we are shown is just, I'm upset about my family situation. And as viewers, we're like, yeah, we would be too, because it is absurd.
And can you explain it to us some more? And he's like, nah, we're not going into it. Like,
yeah, that's all there is to Koichi. Anything more, Koichi?
I'm annoyed with him because, like, he puts the nail in the coffin of Koji's character development, actually. As soon as he comes on the show, like, Koji just doesn't, there's nothing.
Mm-hmm.
He's just like, I found a brother. I'm so confused.
That's it.
Now I am brother.
Cool, let's do it.
So, if I didn't exist in your life, Ash, and I suddenly appeared in your life, you would stop developing as a character?
I would not, because I am written by better writers.
That's what I was gonna say.
Ash would be like, I don't care. Bye. I'm being a rabbi. Peace out.
That's what Koichi should have done, or Koji.
Yeah.
I mean, Koichi is the older brother.
Yes.
And Koichi's sacrifice okay, there are multiple things that like I forgot to mention that like again, I was more aware of this going to the season than I thought I was. That like going into it, I was like, I used to think of Koichi as my favorite character, but no, I recently recalled that he doesn't really have an arc going from Duskmon to Koichi, and he doesn't. He is basically, they don't even spell out like how possessed he is. They are just like, Duskmon is a thing, it's super powerful. Now Koichi's a thing, and it's like, oh, okay, what? Like, okay. And they like Trailmon implies that it's his darkness that fueled that, but it's like, no, he just seems a little bitter.
Darkness. He's like the nicest person you'll ever meet.
Yeah, he's a little sweet boy with a little bit of like not anger, not
Resentment.
vengefulness. Is there resentment? Is there?
Yeah, I think so.
I mean, yeah, I mean, he has the right to be angry at his entire family.
And there's writers.
Yeah.
Should be angry at the writers the most.
Koichi's not a character in Recreator, so he doesn't have that awareness yet.
I am kind of thinking on that level because I just watched the latest episode at the gym. It's good. That show is good.
It's okay.
It's good. The other kind of absurd thing is the Koichi quote unquote dying at the end. And yeah, it really like, was there any like significance to his sacrifice fueling the Susanoo evolution? It was kind of just a like, I feel like it was a random plot twist out of left field that had no mechanical justification. I guess it did give them more motivation to finish the fight quickly and go and see if he was okay. But aside from that, in my head, I remember that I like recalled it as if he had actually died the first time I watched it, and that made it a cooler season. But I think I may not have seen the last episode. Maybe that's why.
Oh.
Yeah, I think that was it the first time I watched it.
Wow.
Totally different reading then. Okay, so who is all of our favorite of these kids, these soft boys and
Tommy.
one single girl? Who said Tommy?
Tommy.
Everyone say Tommy?
I believe we all did.
Okay.
Well, technically, I'm the only one who said it.
Everyone felt it in their hearts.
Because it's true.
Yeah.
I say Koji. What?
Koji's my second favorite.
Wait, oh my god. Okay, so listeners, the number one answers were Tommy and Takuya tied, and Koji was the last place.
Under Zoe and JP. That's wow.
That's impressive.
Zoe and JP are tied. That's almost cute.
It's kind of cute. That's weird.
Koji, why don't y'all like Koji? You're mean. Don't insult my son, Koji.
Okay.
And
Are you going to be one of those people, Jeff?
I don't know. I'm evaluating. Okay, so ships.
To Koji.
Wait, Asher, really?
Yep, I've been converted.
Yeah, okay, I didn't record the clip, but the one thing at the beginning in episode 400, you were like, there is a moment. It is the best thing in all of media. It is the best thing that like God has created on this earth. It is why I became a red eye.
Did I really say that?
No, not at all.
You exaggerated it a bit.
I did.
A little bit. Yes, so it was the Koji
It was
giving
the jacket,
Zoe
yeah.
jacket, yeah.
Oh, I mean, I still like that ship, but it's not what I ship most strongly now.
So where did that show up in the poll? Koji, it isn't quite last place because I think there were some things that had less than 2 votes that aren't reflected in this image. But it's pretty low. Takuya.
Yep.
Takuya Zoe is the number one. What?
That's just
Did
wrong.
they ever interact?
Takuya and Zoe? Yes.
Like,
they did quite often.
But he interacted in her lap in a dream sequence.
Whoa.
Is that too far?
Whoa.
That was a little too far. Remember, they're 11.
They're 11. Do they even have those functionalities yet? Like, let's get real here.
They do.
All I really said was that he put his head in. Okay.
Okay.
I regret everything.
You should.
Yeah, Takuya and Koji, I would have expected to be higher.
Actually, we have a lot of male listeners, don't we?
Yeah, I'm not sure the demographic. I think I might have that stat from people who responded to this 3rd season survey. So are you thinking that Takuya and Zoe is more of a male ship and Takuya and Koji is more of a female ship?
I'm saying that Takuya and Koji there are...
Are you getting into the yaoi female fan kind of thing?
Yeah. But I also feel like, I could go on about this for a long time. And that's time we don't actually have. But I think the Takuya Zoe ship is sort of, if Takuya is our bland stand-in for a male audience member and he gets with the only girl, I think that's what that's about.
Yeah.
Whereas Takuya and Koji is you know, sort of the classic, I don't want to say yaoi because they're 11.
Yeah.
Sort of the classic MM pair.
Yeah, wait. So which term is the least sexual? I think you were struggling because there isn't one that is like completely devoid of.
I would say gay is probably the least sexual. But I was thinking in fandom terms. I would say MMM.
Okay, I haven't heard that before. Yeah, I don't know if I have a favorite chip. I think I wrote down Koji x Zoe just as a like.
That's because you like Koji.
I guess so. No, but like
You want Koji to have the girl.
it's not that I want Koji to have the girl. It's that I like. I
You
like
liked the moment when he gave her his jacket.
It's not. It's not just that one moment. I like what that show that side of his personality that other things don't show. Like seeing him be so flustered and like. And
I agree.
Yeah.
You like his little blushes?
I mean, blushes are everything. Like when Yamato blushed at Taichi and.
Oh my gosh, yeah, they are totally a thing.
Speaking of classic,
That's it's just going hard into it now. It's just like, yeah, it's true. It's
canon.
there. It's canon.
It's real.
Yeah, the last movie will actually end in them recreating the fight in I forget what episode it is, but in the ice field where they're rolling around in the snow.
Yeah.
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 Some funny answers from listeners were Patamon crossed with his pink sash, Mercurymon and his ego.
That's a good one.
Koji and dying alone. That one's sad. I
Aww,
don't like it.
that's mean.
Yeah, don't hurt my son. Let's talk about a show called Digimon. They have these creatures in them.
Digimon, digital monsters.
So we have a couple different categories to talk about of various Digimon in the season. I'm not sure what the best way to structure this is because we have a bunch of polls. We have a bunch of our own opinions. Do you guys want to like look at the polls and then discuss our own? Or how do you want to do it?
Let's look at the polls.
How do we get them to Digimon go to the polls? That was a deep cut.
No.
Okay, so favorite ally Digimon. Number one answer from our listeners was
Patapon.
Well, you're wrong because it's Neymon. That actually doesn't surprise me. I almost picked Neymon.
So Ash, what did you pick?
I forget. Hang on. I wrote it down. Oh, I said all the Trailmon.
Yeah, I was really frustrated. I forgot to include the concept of Trailmon in this poll, favorite ally. And then
Yeah.
Wait. My favorite ship is Koji x Gotemon, and Gotemon is best ally.
Okay,
Your favorite ship is Koji and Gotemon?
So Ash, you see, I included that in the image. That's at the center, at the heart of the ships is Koji and Gotemon.
Oh, you're right.
Okay. Like, joking aside, and like considering a romantic aside, I think it is really fun to see Koji develop a friendship, right? Like especially that early on in the show when he's still like at that point he did run off on his own, and
Yes.
and then for that friendship to come back, it is a cool thing for Frontier to do.
Good job, Frontier. You did a thing. Good. One thing. Maybe two. Tommy was good. You got Trailmon. No more,
Lots
though.
of Trailmon. So I chose favorite ally. I chose Afanimon.
What?
It was hard because I don't like Neymon that much. I don't appreciate that humor for some reason. And I like Gotsumon, but he's like too minor of a thing for me to leave that much impression.
Well, he's like in 2 episodes.
Right. It's pretty minor. And Afanimon, I really like putting an explicit entity behind the choosing of the children. That the season reuses the terminology of Digidestined. Actually, wait. In the dub, reusing Digidestined isn't that cool. Reusing the Japanese terminology of chosen children, Eraberashi Konomotachi. We're using that terminology and actually having someone who explicitly does actually, it's not that she does it's not explicit like she chooses these children. She sends a message, and the people who respond in the right way are the ones who. There's still some BS there because it's still like, and they happen to be fated to fit exactly these spirits in exactly the ways that kind of match the personality a little bit. Still a little BS, but I like having someone behind the personality. Does anyone else have an ally.
It's Lucemon. Trailmon are good too.
Yeah.
The Patamon.
I'm surprised there's such a disparity between Neymon and Pokemon in our listeners. Pokemon was third place, but by like Neymon was like 2x number of votes.
That doesn't surprise me because Pokemon was annoying.
Oh, I definitely liked Pokemon more than Neymon by the end.
Really?
Even though I didn't like him that much, I still found him annoying. I found Neymon more annoying.
Neymon tries to be funny though. Pokemon is like serious McSerious pants.
Well, he's funny sometimes because of that.
Oh,
Right.
wait, we should.
But in an annoying way.
Where is? I'm trying to find image. I posted on social media. And I just wanted to like raise it for Andrew probably saw it because I posted on social media, but I don't know if Ash saw it. Sorry, take a second while I find it. Which was while they're on the moon, they are like dealing with all the Digi eggs and stuff, and they're all like holding Digimon. And do you remember what episode that was? Probably like 47, right? Before Lucemon crashes the moon. Okay. I'm gonna post this in Slack. So they're like dealing with all the Digi eggs, and they're all holding Digimon that are like baby forms of the characters they correspond to from the first 2 seasons, I guess.
Koji is...
Yep, Koji doesn't fit. Koji's the one who doesn't.
No, I mean, you could make a case.
So Koji's holding Tokamon, which is like, okay, I guess that's
He's
a little
not
stretch.
TK. TK
Yeah.
is best character. You get out of here, Koji.
But the
And then
lights.
Koichi's holding Poyomon, so he's also holding baby
Right,
Patamon.
I was like, I guess they're both, like the tweet I made about, or the social media post I made about, I was like, oh, and double TK, I guess. And also Neymon being Ken is a little suspect. But anyway, I thought
He
about it
was the
because
real villain.
yeah, that actually they don't talk about it much. But you know how like they were going to do a continuation of Adventure where Matt goes to space. They were going to do, or they would just had enemies in space. They were actually going to do a sequel to Frontier where Neymon was actually Ken the whole time.
Oh.
But anyway, the reason I brought it up was because Pokemon has like Izzy's Pabumon
Yeah.
or whatever. Yeah, because
Yeah.
he's basically instead of Izzy walking around with a laptop, he's walking around with a book. He is Izzy,
Oh.
but not as endearing.
No.
Sorry, Brian Beacock. It's a good voice.
Good voice, bad character.
How do we feel about enemies?
Trailmon is best.
Yeah. Agreed.
So you're saying better than Duskmon?
Duskmon was just like a
mean-
force of nature.
I don't consider Duskmon an enemy, I guess.
Yeah. Duskmon is just Trailmon's pawn.
So you're saying better than Myrmixmon?
Who?
Mixmon?
Exactly. Myrmixmon is the one from the movie. Is John d'Arcmon's form.
Oh. Yes.
Oh.
Yeah.
100%.
I was really tempted to say Duskmon, but then I picked Mercurymon because of the scheming.
Mercurymon, you would
The
pick
scheming. I
Mercurymon.
like the scheming and the plans on plans and the like. I don't know. I didn't totally love the like his dialect and everything, but the scheming. I like the scheming, and I like the dramatic. Like I think there are many things.
You like his fake Shakespeare? His fake spear?
I don't.
Shakespeare.
Wait, have we? Do you know the the ASL, American Sign Language sign for saying Shakespeare?
No.
It's like mime shaking a spear.
Good.
Yep. Anyway, so there are so many moments in Frontier that I thought were really cool upon initial watch that now I'm like, nope. Like Takuya returning and being like, I see, I'm one with all the elements now. I remember at the time being like, why is this never reused again? But even watching it now, I'm like, this doesn't make any sense and isn't really that earned. It is a little bit earned, but the hype behind defeating Mercurymon, I feel like was well deserved and well executed and like built up since Mercurymon turned the tables on Seraphimon in a fairly surprising way. And yeah, and like there's several episodes in Kakamon building up that hype. The battle introducing Dark Seraphimon, I forget what it's called, Seraphimon Fall Down mode or whatever. Anyway, that was all executed well. Mercurymon's cool. Don't insult him. Don't at him. Andrew, did you say your favorite?
Maybe.
I don't
Who's your
think you
favorite?
did. Yeah, wait.
I don't know. It's just, I guess Trailmon.
It looks like Mercurymon was by far the leader in the polls.
What?
Yeah.
Humans are wrong.
Trailmon was third, though, where it should be,
Wrong.
behind the true winners.
Wrong.
There was a vote for Koji's dad. I like that one.
Yes.
Also for Tepe, which isn't as good as Koji's dad, but it's still pretty good.
Tepe's barely a recurring enemy.
Yeah, it's like his presence recurs. His
I guess.
enemy ship, not really.
Yeah.
It sounds like I can hear myself in someone's recording. I don't know if anyone changed their like headphone settings or something. If not, that's probably fine.
I don't think I did any.
So now on to favorite spirit evolutions. When we asked listeners, we split this into human, beast, and multi-spirit, just because there were so many. But do any stand out for all of us?
Beetlemon.
That sounds like an Andrew pick.
Yeah, I don't know.
It looks like the winners in the polls were, for human, it was Agunimon and Duskmon. And then for beast was Burning Greymon. And then for multi-spirit was Emperor Greymon. So there's a Takuya bias going on there.
There's a Takuya bias? Who knew?
So that is what I mean by that when I was saying that, like, the imagery of Takuya, I think, is effectively cool. And
Oh, you meant his Digimon forms.
I meant, Digimon forms, and I guess, like, him himself is not great.
No, he's boring.
Also, okay, I can agree that Agunimon and Emperor Greymon and Burning Greymon are cool, but Aldemon is the worst Digimon. Literally the worst Digimon.
So I guess you like how I fudged the Beast Spirit poll and put him instead of Burning Greymon.
Oh yeah, hot. He's the worst. Worst design.
Ashley, have you met... Oh, Angie, what's the name of the one that looks... It looks like a guy cosplaying as Godamon?
Betsumon.
Yeah, Betsumon.
He can actually cosplay as other Digimon too.
Right. I'm sure you've seen
And
this
it's
before,
awful.
actually. But I just need to remind you, when you claim that Burning Greymon is the worst Digimon, you...
No, Aldemon is the worst Digimon.
Oh, sorry, that's what I meant. When you claim that Aldemon is the worst Digimon, you need to be reminded of how low the floor goes.
I meant of the choices.
So we'll have a link to Betsumon in the show notes for you to not look at. Please don't look at it.
That's the worst thing I've ever seen. That's disgusting.
There are many levels that it does not need to go to.
Yep.
Ugh.
Ash is back. Sounds like he woke up from a nightmare.
All right, I can agree on not voting for Gigasmon as well. I mean, Gigasmon.
there was literally no votes for Gigasmon.
I can't imagine why.
I actually, in my notes, was like, oh, Gigasmon stands out a little bit because he was the only beast spirit that was used tactically, like actually switching back and forth on the fly depending on the situation, had different advantages depending on the situation that would use them based on the context of battle and everything. But also Gigasmon, super weirdly phallic in ways that is very uncomfortable. Oh. Please put your whole body away, Gigasmon. And I think I also really like Garmon. So Kendo Gurumon's original Japanese name is Garumamon, and it's a shame that the way that people spell that from fan subs and from the official Bandai spelling, the official Bandai romanization spelling, spelled that Garmon instead of Garumamon. And I think that's a fun twist on Garumamon. But oh well, the thing it's based on is Garmer. So. And award for least beast goes to Zephyrmon.
You didn't let everybody pick their favorites, dude.
Oh, did we not talk about our favorites of all these?
Not all of us.
Okay, I don't. Go ahead.
Looking at all of them in one place, I think I actually have to go with Loamon. Is that his name?
The
Koichi's purified human spirit.
Interesting.
I like it.
It's a Zoid.
Maybe that's why I like him.
Maybe that's...
No, the Zoid is his beast one.
I don't know what a Zoid is, but I agree.
Wait, which one are we looking at?
I was looking at the human one.
So there's Loamon and Jaeger Loamon. Okay, I'm going to continue with my awards. Awards for least beast goes to Zephyrmon, because not a beast. And least
not
elemental.
A beast.
What?
Not a beast. # not a beast.
Not all beasts?
Well,
Not all beasts.
to be fair, Sakakumon is not even a living thing.
Sakakumon is so bizarre that I'm like, yep, sure, go for it. You do you, Sakakumon.
Well, then again, it turns into a snake
Yeah.
from Snake.
Award for least elemental can almost go for Skakumon there, but at least it reflects things back. Definitely Kendo Gurumon, because like how light? It's white, I guess.
He shoots lasers.
Yeah.
Lasers are light.
Yeah.
I'd hope it was light.
You have to do more to sell me on that. It's a shame. I should have mentioned that Ashley was complaining about Aldemon, but it's a shame that like the fusion spirits we get are basically just like they're so blandly just a like mishmash of their human and beast forms. When the other,
I know, it's great.
the other fusion spirits are so bizarre. Like, not all of them, but Daipenmon and Jetsilphumon are just like, maybe that's why they didn't do more of them.
It's like they had a toy line in mind or something.
I don't know what this toy thing you're referring to is. Digimon is not made to sell toys. And yeah, what do we think about Lucemon forms?
Myotismon is better.
Yeah.
That's not an answer. There's no Lucemon Myotismon form.
I picked my favorite as the larva one because it's funny.
No!
My favorite Lucemon form is when he's dead.
Nah.
Mean.
By far, the number one answer in the poll was what I've labeled as both OG and Moe mode.
Yeah.
Basic baby mode. And I thought when I was when I was first seeing results trickle in, there were a lot more votes for other forms, like Chaos mode and Shadow Lord mode. But I guess Moe mode won them over sheer numbers. I thought it would be like a clear, like there weren't going to be any votes for any other forms. It would just all be for the original. I was wrong.
I like that his true form is a whiny, wiggly bug baby.
Yeah, I like that as like the reveal for Shadow Lord mode. I don't think I'd minded if he just stayed the original mode the whole time.
Yeah, I would have liked to see original mode like actually kick everyone's butts. That would have been cool. Just destroy everybody looking like a little Cupid.
In Cyber Sleuth, the original mode is much more effective in battle than Chaos mode. I think Satan mode or Shadow mode might be good, but I think it's like really hard. I don't know, it just like doesn't have many equipment slots at that point, whereas Lucemon, the base Lucemon form like has the attack. I think he uses it on the Royal Knights in the show. The thing that's like called like Grand Cross or whatever that has like planets aligning is like does a ton of damage and like penetrates through penetrates through defense, so it does a ton of damage all the time. And it's still really hard to get to because you have to like digivolve a Tokamon with like the highest stats possible. But once you get to it, then it's like, I upgraded him to Chaos mode. Wait, this is such a downgrade. What the hell? Trailmon.
Franken Trailmon is best Trailmon.
I'm very surprised by this poll.
Yeah, Angler is like chugging ahead by almost twice. That is really bizarre.
Worm is second. Where is Franken? Why is Franken so low?
It's actually more than twice.
Oh yeah. I think Worm is the most iconic because he's from the first episode.
Yeah, but Franken had the best lines.
Yeah, I think
Franken had the best.
I think Franken is the best if you've like watched the show in depth and like noted down who said things. But otherwise you're just kind of like, oh, a Trailmon said a funny thing. And then it passes.
I understand why Angler is first because
he had a whole
his own episode. Yeah, like that makes sense. But Worm, come on.
It was a bad episode.
What are you people doing? Franken is best Trailmon, you're all wrong.
Oh, did I have an answer? Oh, it's totally Dark Trailmon.
Raccoon Dog
Trailmon's good too.
Raccoon Dog is so underappreciated.
So the first thing we have under narrative structure is discussing the arcs of the show. And like I mentioned before, it's kind of hard to split up Digimon Frontier into arcs. I think it is, by design, more like slowly evolving as a season than what we're used to. And so, I don't know, making a poll, this was difficult. I basically split it up into 8 different arcs, into as like small of chunks I thought made sense, like the most atomic units. So like the journey to the forest terminal, journey to the dark continent, then Toki's Wavering, then Tsukakumon arc, then Koichi's Purification, then Shirubimon Showdown, Royal Knights, and Lucemon Showdown. Of those, what are our favorites?
Takuya's Wavering.
Yeah.
I wrote because Duskmon is the most fun in those.
Apparently I wrote down Koichi, I guess, for favorite arc. I'm not good with the arcs and the episodes. Yeah.
What I remember of those episodes is that they were full of lackluster fighting.
Yes, that was true.
Koji and Koichi just being like, is he my brother? Brother? What? Who? Hi!
Those episodes I feel like blend the most together for me. Like I remember there were a bunch of episodes after they beat Tsukakumon where it took them a couple episodes to get Koichi on their side, but I don't really remember liking or enjoying or caring about them. I would say
perhaps the best part of those episodes is Cherubimon, so there's that.
Right. When it's like showing him being all creepy and like, I like you, Koichi.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah, I guess I'd have to go with Takuya's Wavering too. I mean, I guess Sakakumon is a close second, just because that's the only time we get character development of the other three, and that I like the build-up of Mercurymon. I don't know, I guess it's a tie for me. Wait, Andrew, did you answer?
No, I don't particularly have a favorite arc.
Okay. So our listeners, number 1 was Kakumon, and then Koichi's Purification, and yeah, which ones on here weren't answered? Oh, I think the Journey to the Dark Continent didn't have any votes, and one other one.
Royal Knights is there? What?
Cherubimon arc.
Ooh.
Cherubimon Showdown and Journey to the Dark Continent didn't have any.
Y'all put Royal Knights above Cherubimon? What is wrong with you?
There are 2 people in the world who think something different than me? What is wrong with the world?
What is wrong with the world? I don't understand. So bizarre.
And favorite episode, I'm glad we got like some consensus in the poll. I mean, I guess it's not entirely surprising.
No, this is terrible consensus.
Okay, the number 1 answer, okay, it makes sense. It's the Takuya going home episode. I find that episode most memorable just because it is so similar to the Adventure episode, which I forgot to even mention in listing out the similarities to Adventure. But number 2 is the Beastie Girl episode, which what?
Are y'all trolling?
So that's not the
Where
one.
Where did this come from?
I remember when we talked about those episodes, like the one that Asher and Andrew really hated was the other one, the like Swiss Family Digimon Centers or whatever. I can't remember, like, was that second one worse? I think you actually said it was because it like played reruns more often or something.
I still like that episode, but I admit it's absolutely awful.
One thing I learned in making this poll is that there are a lot of episodes.
Yes,
there's like 50
episodes is a lot of episodes.
Yeah, surprising. Anyone else have favorite episodes? If I had to pick one that stood out above the other episodes, I guess it would be the Takuya going home episode 22, Home Again, Takuya Returns or whatever. But
No. I can't think of a favorite. I'm looking at the pictures and I see Tsunomon. I'll pick that one.
That's good enough logic.
Oh yeah,
no.
Tsunomon episode.
I just remembered Tsunomon was good in it.
Hey, remember how there is one character who is... We didn't talk about Tommy.
What do you mean?
No, you skipped over him.
I skipped over Tommy. Okay.
Tommy's the best.
Let me
what else is there to say?
Fast forward through that. Tommy, everyone likes him. His arc is about bullying, but it's about him learning to have confidence in spite of that, and it kind of teaches a kind of gross message that like it isn't really about the bullies being wrong. It's about Tommy being wrong for being bullied, which is kind of I don't know how I feel about that. But I think it does speak to a reality that like learning confidence is an important thing, and that could help him deal with that. That's Tommy. So,
what are you going to do? Edit that in?
No, I'm just going to leave it here. But but on that note,
good. On
that note, isn't it a little bit strange that like one character's arc is like almost completely defined by bullying, and there's an episode about bullying, and he's not in it, and it's never the connection's never made. Just like all 3 of them have episodes in Skakumon arc dealing with friendship, and it's never really addressed that they have all dealt with the same issues, and Frontier keeps leaving things on the table. Kept doing it. It happened. It was a long time ago. Yeah. So some other things about... What did I title this section? Some other things about narrative structure. I wanted to just discuss plot. I think I've like talked already about how I think Frontier had an ambitious goal with setting up the plot of not having self-contained arcs. I think in the introduction, Asher, you specifically pointed out that like Frontier had bad plot. So I'm curious, what do you think? What aspect of the plot do you dislike?
Where do I start? I mean, the main issue I have with it is that it's very inconsistent and it drags.
Mm-hmm.
Every arc drags. The plot could have been better if it hadn't felt like they weren't doing anything the whole time.
So when you say every arc drags, you feel that from the beginning? Like,
yes.
Oh, okay. Huh. Because my impression was that things definitely drag. I don't know why I feel this way. Like, I would agree that things drag in the latter, like once Truemon's defeated.
Oh, yeah.
But I would actually argue that, like, I was going to say that, like, the plotting is really good up until Truemon, that it's, like, a constant increase in tension, and, like, they're dealing with, like, going up through the ranks of the legendary warriors up until they get to the point of Truemon, and, like, it's progressively getting closer to that. And
I don't know. I think I got fatigued because there are so many warriors, and there's so many times where they beat the warriors but don't beat them for good.
Yeah.
It's like, ugh.
Yeah. There is, I don't know, I take issue to like using the word filler to just describe Digimon because it is like, in a lot of ways, like, I don't know, Digimon is inherently filler-ish, I think, in general. But I think Frontier has so many things that feel more like filler than other Digimon seasons. I think because it is trying to, like, in dealing with like the Edamon arc, having a random episode dealing with Kakuchimon doesn't really feel like filler, even though it is like a side episode that is like kind of unrelated to the rest of the episode, except for the fact that Mimi gets her crest. Like, even though, like, by a lot of definitions of filler, you could cut that episode out and the only thing that would be impacted was her getting the crest, which was kind of incidental to that episode anyway. It doesn't really feel like filler because that episodic adventure feels entertaining and is like a self-contained thing that people enjoy and everything. But by comparison, Frontier has these overarching things that it has to space out, and there are so many battles where they ends in a stalemate, ends in whatever getting away, and I think those definitely feel more like filler, even though like it is hard to, like, you can't by standard definitions of filler like take it out and have nothing be affected, but it does feel like things move slowly and move poorly, and you've turned me around. Frontier, bad plot.
I definitely think they move very slowly.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean they're filler, it just means that they suck.
Yeah. It drags its feet. World building is another aspect of the series that this might actually be one of my most disappointing things about the series, actually, because I went into it thinking that this was one area that Frontier did well, and it turns out instead it's more that like Frontier attempted to do it and no other Digimon season really does, but that attempt was pretty bad, and the execution of it, telling us the same backstory over and over again with like a tiny, like a single sentence added each time, that like it's like so little information is eventually given to us, and what little is there is given to us in such small bits at a time through repetition, and it's hard to keep track of like, oh, what was learned when, because it's like, oh right, this time they learned that they fought Lucemon, this time they learned that there were 10 of them, I don't know, like, yeah. And there's so much more in fighting Lucemon. There's so many more things, like questions it raises about how the legendary warriors defeated Lucemon the first time, that just seem like obvious avenues for them to explore, to learn more about the digital world. And nope, no one cares. No one cares about the digital world, even though the season is supposed to be about the kids learning to care about the digital world, because there is no world to build. And the ending of the series. Ash, you mentioned in our episode covering the end of the season that you thought it was like one of the best endings of Digimon. I don't think it really touched on like how the end of the series really worked compared to other endings.
I did?
Yeah. You said it was one of your favorite, didn't you?
The ending?
Yes, you did.
Yeah.
You did. Don't lie.
It's been months.
It has been months.
I said that?
Yeah. I should have found the clip.
I mean, I believe you. I just don't understand.
You don't understand? You 4 months ago?
And this is after we watched it. It wasn't like before we watched it.
Yeah, no. I'm thinking back. I'm trying to trace my thoughts. Well, I didn't think Apocalypse was a strong ending for Adventure. Okay, I can't believe I ranked that above season 2.
Wait, are you saying the ending or the final battle?
The final battle is part of the ending in my mind.
I assumed you were talking about like the farewell. Maybe you're talking about all the elements.
I was talking about all the elements. None of them have good farewells.
Tamers
is like okay for a farewell.
Adventure had good farewell scenes.
Adventure has a really iconic, well-executed one.
Yeah.
Tamers is like, this is really effective at pulling your heartstrings. It's unclear if that's what you want out of media, so...
Yeah, no, I was not talking about the farewell scenes.
So you were talking about the final battle.
I think I was talking about the experience of the last couple episodes as a whole. I don't know, that was 4 months ago.
I'm a different person now.
His feelings have changed drastically now.
I don't care to back my past self up on this.
Okay.
Nice.
Yeah, because I think, okay, cool. The ending was, I was disappointed how we got to see so little of the digital world that's supposed to we would care about, and also that leaving the Digimon was played for laughs, and the more important thing was leaving the spirits. But...
This ending is implausible because they run into a hospital room to save Koichi, and that would never happen. It's garbage.
I mean...
That's my thoughts.
I have no idea how...
Don't justify it.
I have no idea how, like, hospital hospitals are staffed in Japan.
I've been into a hospital.
No. Come on.
They
Not
were
a
like,
big one
Jeffrey,
though.
you're stretching it. You're stretching it,
I'm
Jeffrey.
sure they were like,
It would definitely not happen.
they were like, you can't go in here. They were like, you can't go in here, and they were like, we're Digimon, and then just push them aside. And
No, that's not.
yeah. Oh, I think this has like the most
Yeah.
frustrating epilogue though.
What epilogue?
I can't even remember the epilogue.
They just did a cop out.
Well, I mean, the epilogue of like them saying like, you know, each character saying what they've like, JP being like, and now I'm gonna make friends. I forget exactly what they say. Oh no, JP and Zoe say the same thing. That's where the "don't copy me" thing comes from, I think.
Hey, quit copying me.
Right. And they both make. We talked about how like they make. It seems like they're making resolutions to be better at making friends. Not that they actually went and made friends, which is, I guess, it's not really an epilogue. It's more of a like couple scenes to end the show.
Yeah, it's not an epilogue, really.
Do you have any huge unanswered questions? I feel like it's hard because it's like, well, so much. And Koji's family is the clear thing.
I do have a question. I don't know if it's a huge unanswered question, but when I was going over the list, it was the only thing that came to mind is how come the legendary warriors were not reincarnated as Digimon? Why did that not happen?
You mean like, why didn't they come back as Digi-Eggs?
Yeah, because the four that were evil or whatever did come back as Digi-Eggs. So what happened to Agunimon and so forth?
You mean the ancient Digimon?
What?
They all have ancient in their names,
Yeah, like
if that's who you're referring to.
Yeah, sure.
I mean, okay, so I think there are multiple things. I think ancient asterisk, ancient Greymon, ancient Gurumon, etc. They possibly like did something to like split themselves into spirits in a way that did not, you know, cut short the rejuvenation, the revival cycle. And that way, I think the only way that would explain why there aren't more of them in future generations. And I think the other thing is that like there's not really a clear explanation of how the what's going on with the evil spirits, like is there a Digimon that spirit evolved into them? Because that's what that could be, that egg, right? Those eggs could be the base Digimon, right? I mean, I guess you would think that they would turn into that Digimon before turning into the egg. So, so many questions.
I mean, yeah, my biggest unanswered question is just how did Koji's parents get away with this? Why did they do it in the first place? Nothing makes sense.
I wonder if there are like better ways to have a surprise brother. Because that way did not work very well.
There are certainly better ways to have a surprise brother than your parents lied to you about one of them dying. Like,
Yep.
And not explaining like any motivations for that lie.
Yeah.
Like you can do that if you set up plausible reasons, like if that becomes a point of something that they investigate, but it's not. They don't question it, and they don't like.
I think they just didn't want to get into those things. Like they didn't want to. I feel like if they had made it about like I think to it would have had to be something pretty ugly to make them lie like that, right? Like so. I don't know. I do feel like it was probably like, oh, this is a huge question. We can't really answer satisfyingly. So let's just like kind of hope no one notices.
Oh my god, terrible.
Because I think to answer that in a satisfying way, it'd have to be like they're on like super bad terms and they hate each other, and like I don't think there's a way to do it without being like so they're bad. And if they don't want to make viewers hate the parents, then
It's so shady.
it is. Yeah. There are so many other questions we could go into, but we don't have time. Okay, now I want to talk about some themes. This kind of be a retread if you've listened to all of our episodes covering the season in detail, but if we figure people will be listening to this who haven't listened to those, who want just a quick rundown of All Frontier and don't want to listen to talking about every episode in depth. And these are kind of the highlights of themes that we recognized while analyzing the rest of the show and wanted to bring up again. So the theme that I brought up that was pretty controversial, and I guess it's still pretty controversial, is the human savior narrative, as I called it, that the kids... The interactions the kids have coming into the Digiworld and adopting the form and shape of the Digimon to save them in this foreign land reminds me an uncomfortable amount of the white savior narrative, which people don't know is a way of describing narratives about, I guess, primarily Black people and narratives in fiction in African countries, and not just African countries, but, you know, lots of things. Words don't work for me.
No,
And
they're really not.
and
It's like if you the help is a classic white savior-y narrative where it's like, you know, it's about slavery and like, or you know, like anything about slavery, but then the white people are the like ultimate saviors is a white savior narrative because like the white people are also the mass oppressors. Like, what are you talking about?
Right. They generally frame the narrative as if it is about slavery or about the oppressed culture, but in a way that the story actually plays out, it is kind of like led from a white perspective, is kind of about making like white people, the white audience, feel good about the things the white people have done and stuff. And Game of Thrones, I guess, is a pretty recent example of all this because Daenerys, like, oh, Daenerys is so progressive. She like, and yeah, just people react.
Yes, Daenerys is classic white savior.
Yeah. And
I think the other element of it is that you don't normally get as deep into the like motivations and characters of the oppressed people.
Right.
Which is definitely something that I think is true in Digimon.
Right. There are many aspects we just described of the white savior narrative. It doesn't really apply to the Digimon aspect. But I think, yeah, that like the idea that it's supposed to be about the Digimon and saving them, but doesn't really, you know, like show things from their perspective too much. But also like, I don't think anyone has any, like if you watch the theme song, it's clearly about the kids. You know, it's called Digimon, but it's about the kids going to digital world. It's not like really trying to be about Digimon with kids who are taking up the spotlight in any uncomfortable way. It's more just that there are some structural similarities that make me be like, this is kind of similar. And it gives me pause, was basically, I think, my final conclusion to this thing. And
it gives me pause because it's also like the Digimon actively seemingly don't try to save themselves, but in a way that has never made sense because there are clearly very strong Digimon just like chilling in random villages.
Yeah, they're just in montages and stuff.
So it's kind of like, what are they doing? Why are they all running? Like that doesn't, because the only things you ever really see that they ever focus on are like champion level and below. And it's like, okay, that makes sense, but where's the Gallantmon? Like, where did he go?
Yeah, and the ways in which it's similar to the white savior narrative that I find uncomfortable are like the white savior narrative is about empowering the white people to feel good, you know, like that. And in similar ways, like Digimon is about like empowering these kids who come in who know nothing about Digimon culture, who become the best Digimon, who like become the strongest Digimon, like the best at defending the world. And it's like, okay, but like presumably there have been Digimon who've been living here for like decades who should be defending it and stuff. But like you came in and you're like, we're the best, and that's an uncomfortable aspect. I mean, it's not as bad as representing actual cultures and doing this to like real life people and real life cultures. And you know, there are many layers that the white savior narrative is so much worse. So much. But I think it perpetuates that idea that like power fantasy of coming in and being the best and doing better than everyone else while also like being the best one of them when you don't really care about them. Yeah. Which I think has ramifications in our current culture, everything in society. Anything more about that, Ashley?
No.
Another thing, we never really explicitly talked about too much, but I thought just like thinking about what themes Digimon Frontier has, we talked about like in passing a couple of times about how I think a recurring theme is repeating the past. I mean, it's pretty clear. It's in the opening. It's in the dub song, at least, which is kind of funny. Like it does fit so well there. And that it's like, it's about looking towards the past. How does it go? As you look towards
As we head for the future. To reclaim the digital world.
Yeah. That's how it goes. And like so much of the season is framed about like what the legendary warriors did in the past and how they can do better in the future. Yeah, I don't know how much there is there's no like, it's kind of just there. I don't know if it executes this theme the best because as we talked about, the world building is bad. It doesn't really fully explore the things in the past. And when it does, it beats you on the head with them. And
exposition.
Yeah, exposition dumps are fine, but like the same exposition dump over and over is not, I think, like the worst of exposition dumps. And it like, when they do the exposition, it rarely actually informs what they're supposed to do. Like in the abstract, I see how that's like the goal of having all this stuff with the past is to inform their decisions in the future, but they don't actually play out that way. It's kind of just, you are the fated ones from the past. So yeah, go defeat them. Okay, you can do it. Ashley, you talked a lot about frontier, what frontier means, and the, I guess, like American frontier, how that plays into Digimon Frontier. We talked a lot about the different symbolism and everything. Do you remember any highlights from that?
It is the American frontier. No. I think, yeah. I think, like, I'd always been like, I guess Digimon Frontier is trying to play around with the American frontier. But then when we got to the episodes where they had to, like, the digital world is being destroyed, so they had to just change what the frontier is, I was like, okay, no, it's, like, actually pretty explicitly going into that symbolism and stuff.
Yeah, 'cause initially, it's just about, like, I think the frontier was just supposed to evoke the imagery of expanding, or not expanding, of exploring an open land. But then eventually there is no land to explore anymore, and it becomes about, like, where else can they go, which is how we think of
so
frontiers nowadays.
Yeah. Plus the digital world, like, being the internet, and the trains were always there, but they become much more explicit once it's like, yeah, now this frontier is closed, so we go to the moon, and you're like, okay.
Yeah, my takeaway from all of that discussion was basically that, like, they wanted to evoke these themes, but, like, didn't have a clear message or idea with what was going on with them. Like, I think they chose trains because, you know, they wanted to pull some imagery from the American Midwest frontier era, and
I believe you have just described all of Digimon Frontier. I made a lot of themes, and then I didn't know what to do with them, so I just put them all together, and this was like, maybe that'll be cool.
Another one from a more recent episode that I really enjoyed was Ash talking about East versus West symbolism with Cherubimon and the Legendary Warriors. Ash, do you have anything to add to that?
God, I don't
remember
what I said.
Oh, I guess I've listened to it more
Asher
recently.
doesn't remember anything that he said. He's like, what? I said this was the best ending.
Well, it was mostly about how, like, the Legendary Warriors, like, the...
Oh, with the angels and the Legendary Warriors.
Yeah.
Okay, I was like, with Cherubimon? What did I say about him? Okay, I, like, vaguely remember. I actually really don't remember what I said.
Well, it was mostly about, like, how Lucemon is, like, a very Western image.
Oh, yeah.
And you were talking about how, like, it isn't just that, like, the West, like, Lucemon represents the idea of a Western empire, but also that, like, Legendary Warriors are very Eastern, especially with Susanomon being a very Japanese folklore, and
it's not just Japanese. Well, Susanomon is, but, like, well, no, Susanomon is, but the other legendary spirits, their original names are all, not all, but most of them are Eastern deities, largely Indian ones, actually.
Yep.
Yeah, and that, I think that plays into a lot of the, you know, idea of frontier. Because for Westerners, Japan was part of something that was beyond their frontier in a lot of ways. And you could read, you shouldn't, but you could read Digimon Frontier as a way of, like, pushing back against that influence.
I also just realized it's kind of like the idea that this, like, Western influence has been lurking inside the digital world the entire time, and, like, could erupt at any point to, like, take it over and eat it from within. There's a pretty, like, nationalistic message in there that I kind of doubt was intended, but is a possible reading.
Yeah, I don't think any of that was intentional, but you can see it. And I think the fact that Lucemon is trying to break through to the human world to continue his domination and eating of everything, and remember, he was going to turn everything, he was going to make Digimon the way he wanted to make them, and make everything go according to his plan. Like, that's there's very strong ties between this and the idea of the white savior narrative that we were talking about before, because a lot of that work in the real world was missionary work. Religion has been used for this kind of imperialist crap since humanity began, and is still going on.
Yes, our overarching theme here is Frontier is about imperialism. Is what we've gotten to.
Yeah.
the final theme I had written down, which is kind of a anticlimactic compared to those, but it's just about the idea of returning home. That it was basically self-contained to one episode, the returning home episode. What's it called? Home Again, Takuya Returns, probably. And yeah, I think that's an idea that like it's definitely rehashing the thing from Adventure, but in a new light, and how the idea that when you return home, things have changed, and you can't. In that context, is more about like he can't abandon his friends and his current mission. But I think there are shades of like Takuya returning home, and like he himself has physically changed, is very different. He can't just go back to the life he used to lead. He has changed as a person and needs to acknowledge that. And yeah, in the episode we talked a lot about whether Adventure or Frontier did it better. So yeah, that's
Adventure.
Asher and Andrew, are you ready?
Maybe.
Asher, you there?
I'm here.
Okay.
I don't know that I'm ready.
This is good. Okay, here we go. I'm setting the clock for 5 minutes, and this is a surprise game. Okay. So, are you both sitting down?
Yeah.
Okay. Ash, what's your last name?
Softman.
Andrew, what's your last name?
I don't know.
Okay, I want to make sure you're both sitting, but I'm pretty sure you have the same last name. And
What?
I know this is really shocking to you, but in fact, you're actually brothers. And it is time for the Newlysib Game.
No.
This is vaguely based on the Newlysib Game, but not actually. And I haven't actually watched that. I just know there's a similar concept in that. Asher, you are the older brother.
Yes.
You did not know about this sibling relationship. Andrew is the Koji. Wait, no, I got this wrong.
You did.
I did. I got it switched up. Asher's Koichi. You knew about this. You've been watching Andrew's whole time. Andrew's Koji.
Okay. All right.
And okay. So I'm going to ask Andrew a question. Asher, we're going to send you away. I'm going to ask Andrew a question. And then when you come back, you'll try and guess what Andrew's answer was.
All right.
It's simple. It's just one question.
Okay.
So
do I need to take my headphones off?
yeah, just take your headphones out.
All right.
Okay. Andrew, you ready? So we're going to ask you this question. Okay. So you answer how you would answer the question, right? F, marry, kill, Seraphimon, Ophanimon, and Cherubimon.
What? Wait. So
You know this game,
marry,
right?
kill.
Yeah.
Seraphimon, Orphanimon, Cherubimon? Wait, which Cherubimon are we talking about?
It's up to you. I was assuming good Cherubimon.
Good Cherubimon?
Yeah.
Okay, so Cherubimon, Ophanimon, Seraphimon.
Okay, so
F Cherubimon? Is that one?
and
Yes.
marry Ophanimon and kill Seraphimon.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
She's never gonna get this.
So okay, that's your answer. But this is not revealed to Ash, but secretly, I want you to guess what Ash is going to pick and DM me on Slack.
What?
So guess what
Oh.
Ash would pick and then DM it to me.
So same.
Yep, same question.
What?
Okay, Asher, you're back.
I am back.
Hold on, let me get my buzzer ready. Okay, so now you have to predict Andrew's answer.
Well, not predict because it already happened.
Well, okay, guess what Andrew picked.
Yeah.
Run.
F, marry, kill, Seraphimon,
God.
Ophanimon, Cherubimon.
And it's the good Cherubimon.
Yeah, go Cherubimon.
I don't know why you had to clarify that. Like that actually changes your answer. All right. Well, I think I can't do this. My dad is right there. So
Just list the three.
I think he'd marry Ophanimon. And the other answer is Seraphimon. And no, it's okay, Dad.
And kill Cherubimon?
Yeah.
Oh, you got it wrong.
So then he would really? You'd do that with Cherubimon?
It's a one-time thing.
I was like,
Oh my god.
are you sure Cherubimon was the answer for this? He was like, yeah. And I was like, okay.
Oh boy.
I didn't know that about you, Andrew.
It's not what I am like.
Okay. So Asher, you don't get a point, but
All right.
but Andrew has predicted your guess or what you would answer. So I want you to. How would you answer yourself? Same question.
Well, I'm not a furry. Oh, geez. I guess. Man. You know what? I would platonically marry Cherubimon.
Whoa.
And yeah. And the other thing with Ophanimon.
Andrew got it right.
Wait.
Andrew understands how much I just do not like Seraphimon.
I'm not a furry, but I'm married.
I feel sorry for you doing this with your dad in the background.
That's why I've had my microphone muted so much. He's cooking.
Oh, you Softman brothers.
But actually, this is very telling about our relationship because Andrew is very good at predicting what I will like.
And you're terrible at it.
Because, yeah. Wait, Andrew, what was your answer?
Oh, it was just...
What was your
It was
answer?
just reverse Seraphimon and Cherubimon.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
You got Ophanimon right, yeah. You were on a good track there in the beginning.
Okay, and now it is the end of the season, so it is time for us to put our stamp on the fantasy draft. People have been submitting their, are we calling them headcanons of Digivolution's human and spirit, human and Digimon teams to guess our MVPs each episode, and they have been in the running for several months, and we are going to award some final points now to declare a winner. So for the first phase of that, we need to pick our season-wide MVPs. And then we're going to award anyone who has ever picked those Digimon will get points for those rounds that they picked those Digimon if they are our season-wide MVP. So...
What?
So if I picked Terriermon, then
Yeah.
any round, if anyone picked Terriermon, they get an extra point.
Wow. All right.
Yeah.
Damn.
Anyone else have their answer ready?
Oh, yeah.
We only get to pick one thing, right? A human or a Digimon?
Yep, one character.
Tommy.
Tommy. Oh,
You're all so
snaps.
predictive. Wait, Ashley, you were saying Tommy too, right?
Yeah,
Yes.
although I am debating whether to say Sagittariumon just...
Oh my god, I didn't think of the possibility of everyone picking the same thing.
You're
Yeah,
dumb.
Jeff, you didn't think this through because it was either going to be Tommy or Namon.
I don't know my answer.
Do you want me to say Sagittariumon? Just...
I mean, is that your, like, do you think he is the best character of the entire series?
I do. I mean, he was great.
Well, he did ask everyone to hand over their obsessions.
Yeah.
And that's the highlight of the entire season.
There's also Franken.
Yeah, I'm considering Franken
pretty
Trailmon.
good.
What did Franken do again?
He had the funny
Had the
dialogue
best
during
lines.
the
He
race.
was the funniest. All right, I'll choose Franken just to mess with y'all.
I think I'm going to choose Koji because I'm a sucker.
Wow, you are a sucker.
Yeah, I'm a sucker. Okay. So as it stands, I chose Koji, Ashley chose Franken Trailmon, Asher chose Tommy, and Andrew chose Tommy. So we have awarded points. We gave 8 more points just from those season-wide MVPs. We got 8 points to First Agent ARP, 6 points to Jackals31, who now goes by Zoe's my favorite. I for a second had to remember who was the female character in the season. I was like, who was it? Is it Rika? No, it's not Rika. Anyway, and 5 points to Embermoto, and then 3 points to Ancient Irismon and Hasotobi. And then a couple more points for other people too. But those are the highest points we've given for that. So that potentially shakes things up a lot. And we still have a couple more points to give out. We're going to give... How should I word this? I've tallied up all of the fantasy draft teams that we picked as being absurd picks for the 7 episodes. And now each of us is going to pick the most absurd of the most absurd and the most desired of the most desired. And for each one we pick, that pick will get 2 points. So another potential ton of points going around. So now we're going to deliberate and figure out what we're choosing. Okay, now we've done some deliberation and we are going to award, like I said, 2 extra points to each most absurd of the most absurd. I picked a draft team of the most absurd. I picked a draft team of Tommy into Ice Devimon from episode 4 of 4, which was from Tokujo on Twitter, adding 2 points to that. I like the idea of like Tommy getting licked by Ice Devimon and then like turning into Ice Devimon. No, rejected. And then everyone else, so Ashley, Asher, and Andrew all picked Ronald McDonald into Burgermon from episode 4 of 2. From also Tokujo. Oh, wow.
Oops.
And that means Tokujo gets 6 more points for that.
And he's going to be more infamous.
And then for the most desired of the most desired, I picked from episode 4 of 5, Rio digivolving into Dynasmon and Crusadermon. Oh god, it was from Tokujo.
I was like, I feel like Tokujo actually wrote all of these.
Oh my god, so infamous. And
Trickery.
then, I mean, I should explain that I like the idea of Rio, like that being the reveal, that Dynasmon, Crusadermon, like de-digivolve, and then it's Rio, and then it's like, no, that explains everything. That explains why they are they. And then everyone else, Ashley, Asher, and Andrew, you're all hive mind.
Cool.
All voted on TK turning into Duskmon from episode 4
Which is
or
also
3.
Tokujo? No.
I'm looking it up. I'm looking it up slowly. Nope, that's the Dizzy Wolf.
Oh, I like Dizzy, so Dizzy gets all my points.
Oh god, I didn't do this well. Crap, they're tied. Uh-oh.
Who Tokujo and who is tied?
To Tokujo and Adam.
We're tied for first.
Yeah. Other ones, it's fine if we tie because we just give them add extra prizes. But okay, I'll just say, okay, we're going to deliberate and figure this out in post, and then we'll report back. Ashley and I'll report back with who the winners are. We are here recording after the fact. We had technical issues while we were recording 408 and could not figure out who won the fantasy draft because I was not tallying the spreadsheet correctly, and I had not actually counted the bonus points that we awarded during 408 and thought we had a tie. We did not have a tie. There were very clear winners. Now that the bonus points are tallied fully, I don't remember if we actually talked about the bonus points too much, so I think I should talk about them now. So Tokujo got 13 bonus points, all from the bonus points we were awarded in 408.
Those are the funniest answers.
Yeah, a lot of them were pretty funny. Also, Adam, First Agent ARP, had 8. Tomoyoshi also had 8. A couple people had 6. Looks like Jackal is 31, who I think is always my favorite. And the Dizzy Wolf, Dizzy and Lost, also had 6. So lots of bonus points awarded. But with those bonus points awarded, number 1 is Tokujo, infamous Tokujo.
Infamous Tokujo.
So first place gets the English Frontier DVD box set, and also 3 picks from our try giveaway prize pool, which we have not done a prize giveaway in a while, but we still have the pool.
It's only gotten better because we haven't done anything in a while. We've actually just accumulated things, so...
Yeah, I guess we need to take stock of what's in there, actually. But anyway, we if you're one of the lucky winners, we'll reach out to you, but also might take us on how to do that, so reach out to us as well.
Yeah, be like, yo, Podigious, give me my crap. And be like, yeah.
Yeah, whatever Ashley, I think, just said now. I don't know what happened. She was possessed by
I'm the one who mails things. So...
She was possessed by a little demon just now. Anyway.
What?
Second place is First Agent ARP, and that for second place, you get 2 picks in the try giveaway pool. Yes. And then third through 5th place, each get 1 pick, and it'll go in order. So we'll, first place will get their 3 picks, first pickings, and then we'll go on to second, and then in that order. So third place is Ancient Irismon, May from Lost in Translation Mon. 4th place is Tomoyoshi, and 5th place is Imramoto. Thank you, everyone who participated, and I think the fantasy draft was fun this season. I also really like that we have these multiple winners instead of last time where we just had 1 winner. And but yeah,
we're learning.
Yeah, I think the season was fun. I don't know if it necessarily had more participants than season 3 over each episode, but I think it was more fun having the things be on social media. I've initially felt bad because I was because it took extra time in the feedback episodes to talk about the fantasy draft and stuff. And to make it was not a loved segment in the survey. But so moving into social media, I thought we could, and it seems like that was pretty successful there. People seem to like their result posts. I think it was a good way to share that stuff without taking up time in the episode. Yeah, and we hope people had fun doing it this season. Thank you for everyone who participated. And we hope if people maybe were intimidated to jump on midway, thought they wouldn't have any chance, which I don't think is true. Actually, looking at this,
I mean,
it's mostly true. Everyone who, the first 10 slots were people who had been participating since round one.
yeah, and I was going to say, Tojo, First Agent, ARP, and Irismon, we're all really high the whole time.
Dizzy got pretty close, having only entered once.
That's true. Good job, Dizzy.
Because of so Dizzy only entered in round 3 and still ended up in 10th place, 9th place, because they only entered once, and that one entry got so many points in the bonus round. And since
that's how we shake all the things up.
Ridiculous dialogue draft, baby.
Ashley, go into your spiel.
Well, how many are we picking?
We're only picking one. It's the Omega RDD.
The Omega RDD, where we pick our favorite of the most favorite lines from the season. They are touching and funny and something best.
Is that it?
Okay. Yes.
Yep.
Sure.
The order is Jeff, Andrew, Asher, Ashley.
Okay, I am first. My pick is, it's a classic. Oh, what should I go? Oh, it's tough. It's tough. I'm gonna go with the classic. Episode 7, Koji saying,
In that creepy castle? How can it be creepy? It's lavender. Never underestimate your enemy. It's just so lavender.
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 Someone tweeted us
Lavender.
an image that is some scientific fact that lavender is supposed to increase your happiness or something. I was like, yes. Anyway,
It decreases your stress.
All right, Andrew.
Episode 27, Pokemon says,
I believe I just saw Koji up there.
I believe in Santa Claus, but I know I saw Koji.
I believe I just saw Koji. And then Neymon says, I believe in Santa Claus, but I also saw Koji.
That was a disturbingly close. Disturbingly close. I believe Andrew should win just for his impression of Neymon. All right, my turn.
Okay.
This is from episode 40. Takuya says,
Yeah, just trust me on this one. Why? Have you been right before?
it's such an innocent question. It's so great.
Man, you guys didn't eliminate enough of my favorites. Ugh. You know what? Oh god, what am I gonna do? I'm gonna go, though I really want to pick Frankins, I'm gonna pick Cherubimon from episode 30 saying,
You have my attention.
Oh god.
The darkness in your heart drew me straight to you. Your loneliness and sadness, your angry soul. It's like honey to me. Sweet, pained darkness.
Darkness?
I like you.
It's a good thing we didn't play the Newlysib game with Ashley. She would have been like, F, marry, and kill Cherubimon.
But Ashley doesn't have siblings, right?
Exactly,
No.
she can never play. So now it is time for Frontier Terminal Judgment. Okay, so Frontier Terminal Judgment. We've said enough about Frontier. Let's just rank the seasons. Okay, so my ranking now is Tamers first, then Adventure 02, then Frontier. And included in there, I have Tri and Atmon between Adventure and 02, and Cross Wars between 02 and Frontier, and then Hunter is the very, very bottom, which I kind of consider its own thing. Andrew, what's your ranking?
1, 2, 3, 4?
nice.
Wait, so
wow, it
was
made
that
it easy for you.
Was that in increasing order of quality or in decreasing, right?
Decreasing?
So Frontier at the bottom, Adventure at the top.
I mean, it changes depending on my mood anyway.
My goal with this is to take snapshots of where we feel at the end of each season and then see how they evolved.
All right.
Asher.
Yeah. 02, Adventure, Tamers, Frontier, the other ones.
The other ones.
Yeah.
Well, we didn't get to the other ones yet.
All right. remember that I have not seen anything beyond Frontier. So Tamer's Adventure 02, Try, even though it is not completed. It could move up. Movie 4 soured me, then Frontier.
Okay, so we have the same, excluding Try, we have the same ranking. That's what's legally required.
Yeah, I forgot about Try.
Yeah,
I
Ash,
thought we were just talking about the TV series.
Whatever.
how excited are we to move on to Sabers?
I mean,
Hell,
Sabers can't be worse than this, right? So like,
Don't worry, it's not.
it's only up from here.
Okay, I'm excited. I'm not quite
I'm
hella.
excited to watch X Evolution. Yes.
Oh yeah, we did that first.
Yes.
Let's go to recommendation articulation.
Ashley goes.
Me? Okay. I highly recommend that you watch 2 hours of K-pop videos.
Okay.
Which is a thing that Jeff and I did with our friend while we were out getting fried chicken or something at a Korean
fried
place. Korean fried chicken with our friend who was slowly getting drunk, and we just sat there and we watched Korean pop videos, and it was great. It was a great time.
Oh boy.
It's a good recommendation. A good recommendation.
I know, it was good. Learn all their choreographed dance moves. It's dope.
Ashley,
Cool.
you have the thing in the doc, so you go.
Yeah. So I'd like to recommend season 14 of So You Think You Can Dance, which is airing on Fox Monday nights, 8 p.m. Eastern. If you like to watch people do incredible things with their bodies, it's great.
I used to watch So You Think You Can Dance, and I was really into it. I just don't have time for all these TV shows, but I second this recommendation.
We saw it in the doc like days before, and I was like, what the? Okay. Andrew.
I'm going to recommend the new DuckTales reboot, which is actually really, really well done. And the characters have depth. The plot is well paced for the movie, at least. And it's actually a really, really fun reboot.
Oh, I didn't realize it came out. I'm behind
Today.
the times. Ah.
Okay. Okay. I am going to recommend a manga series called Astro Lost in Space. Disclaimer: I work for the company that publishes it, but you can read it if you're in any of the 10 countries, the Anglophone countries. You can read it for Anglosphere countries. You can read it for free on Viz.com or go to Shonen Jump section and read it. And it is really good. It's a space sci-fi epic thing with kids in high school, and it is interesting, fun dynamics between the kids. It is interesting space exploration. It is good with plot twists, good at pacing, good at characters. It's good, and I'm bad at talking. So just wanted to thank everyone for listening another season, and especially thank you for all the poll responses. Frontier is like not a very popular season, but I guess we had some passionate poll responses. Like in 02, we only got 10 to 60 per poll, and then Tamer's 10 to 40, but for Frontier we got 20 to 70. So thank you everyone who filled those out and helped give us fodder for discussion, and we'll release all those images and everything so you can see what the breakdown was. You can find the full show notes and comment thread for this episode at podigious.com/408. Go to the episode page to vote on your favorite Omega RDD pick, and jump in the comments to let us know what you thought about Frontier and what you thought of our Frontier podcast. Did we add any insight into Frontier? Make you like it more or less? Did we make you hate Lavender? You can also let us know your thoughts via social media, email, our With the Will thread, or the Digimon subreddit thread for this episode.
Our Agunimon artwork while we've been covering Frontier is by Jubia Majo on DeviantArt. We'll have links in our show notes to check out the rest of their artwork.
Podigious made support with your... What?
I like how you're confused by yourself. What did you say?
What are you doing? What? That's not at all what it says. Okay. Podigious is made possible with your support on Patreon, including support from our champion, Patramon. The infamous... No. I can't do it today.
Do you want me to do it?
No. Diabjomon, the infamous Tokujo on Twitter, who won the fantasy draft. Maybe we're gonna see. Joe Keto, Kailunamon, Michael Penne, and Sam Kruagamon. Our ultimate Patramon, David Graumon, and our mega Patramon, Marcus.
If you want to be cool like them, then you can become Patreon too. For $1 a month, you can join our private group chat on Slack where we talk about things like TV, anime, and games. You can also get cool stuff like commentary tracks and behind-the-scenes notes for $3, a new sticker and button every month for $10, and ability to choose episode topics for $15.
You can find Podigious on Twitter, Tumblr, or Facebook to keep up with the Digimons, hear about upcoming episodes and recordings, and get funny Digimon images and GIFs. I'm Aster Dashry on Tumblr.
I'm Drew Softman on Twitter.
I'm definitely Jeff on Twitter.
And I'm AshMcGee00 on Twitter.
Share the podcast with your friends who are preparing to punch all the things, but don't share the podcast with the friend you don't have because you're a poorly written Frontier side character.
And just a reminder, everyone to fill out the end of the season survey so we can improve the podcast and make it better. And just, please do that. Any information you can give us is valuable. Any feedback we would like to hear. So go to bit.ly.com/frontier_survey. And join us next week as we watch the recently released Tri Chapter 2 dub. And in the coming weeks for X Evolution, Tri Chapter 5, and Data Squad. Bye!
Bye!
And remember, never stop digivolving. We're here, we're Frontier. I forgot the third part of that saying. What is the third part? Get used to it. Okay.
Yeah, don't get used to it. We're leaving.
No, I meant like let's record. So everyone agrees on Blood, Sweat, and Frontiers.
Yeah, it's the best one. Not by much, though.
See, Jeff, they're not good.
Because they're all amazing.
They're not good. No.
Oh, come on. You don't like Pain in the Frontier and its Ugly Head? There were some that were religious themed, like Speak of the Devil and He Showed a Frontier.
No.
Fools Rush In, where angels frontier to tread.
No. Stop.
The only thing to Frontier is Frontier itself.
You can't make us believe those are better.
I'm mainly mostly just saying them so they're on the recording. Okay, now can you hear this?
And
Yes.
Sadly.
Hey! No, Jeff, stop.
I'm sorry.
why are we being scolded?
That was a very serious scolding.
Recorded August 12th, 2017.
On Andrew's birthday eve.
No, it's his actual birthday.
Oh, wait, what?
We're only celebrating tomorrow.
Oh.
Today is his birthday.
Way to trick me. Happy birthday, Andrew.
No.
Okay.
Fine, don't have
feel
a happy
tricked.
birthday. How old are you now, Andrew?
26.
Wow.
Wow.
Asher, I feel like you knew the answer to that.
Yeah,
I did know the answer to that.
Well, we'll get into that. Okay. Podigious is your critically nostalgic analytical tour, the Digimon anime. No, okay, that's not what I wrote.
That's not what you wrote, no.
Podigious is your critically nostalgic analytical tour through the Digimon. God, it's so hard not to say.
No.
Wait, Andrew, don't delete that.
I didn't delete it. I hid them.
What? What?
You can...
What? I didn't know that was a feature. Okay.
It is kind of hard to see. Wow. Does that say Takuya and Tommy are tied?
I think it does.
Yes. I think it does.
I wonder if we can get rid of the margins.
Takuya x Zoe, come on, guys. Come on.
But you're skipping ahead. Wow, people are incorrect, though.
People are incorrect. Prepare yourselves.
No hot takes or anything, but
No hot takes.
oh wait, I just found an actual explanation for this. So in The Promised Neverland, which is a really good manga that is in Shonen Jump, and someday it's gonna blow up. When it gets an anime, it's gonna blow up. Mark my words. There is a character who I don't think is a real thing. I think is just a fake thing. Fake thing in manga land. A character who has baby memories, who has memories since they were a fetus, like never forgot their memories as a fetus and everything. Which I'm like, I don't think that's scientifically possible. But
It's sort of possible, but not really.
And so maybe that's how Koichi remembers their mom or remembers Koji and them splitting up, and Koji doesn't. That would explain things.
No. No, it wouldn't.
Yeah, no, not at all, no.
Okay.
But yeah, infants don't really retain memories until 2 or 3.
That's their magic.
But like how, like there isn't like an organ when they're a fetus to make memories, right?
What?
Like
What?
Wait, well,
Are you talking about a brain?
I was referring
He
to
was just saying-
I was referring to that thing called a
You don't
brain.
have a brain when you're a fetus.
well, it depends on what stage we're talking.
Let's move on from fetus memories.
Once again, we would like to remind you that Podigious is not your critically acclaimed scientific podcast.
I don't know
Science
about that.
is not our forte.
Gay is probably the least sexual. But I was thinking in fandom terms. I would say MMM.
Okay, I haven't heard that before.
Whoa, where you been, Jeff?
Jesus.
Well, I guess Jeff doesn't read that much fanfiction.
I'm going to work at YowieCon in a month.
Are you?
Yeah, there
Oh,
was
yeah, he
a.
is.
Have fun.
I need to do research. And that's why I'm curious about these things.
I was going to teach you more terms, but we should move on.
Yeah, we can talk about it later.
So do I need to take my headphones off?
Yeah, just take your headphones out.
All right.
Okay, and Ashley, so when Andrew says the answer, you need to text it to me or something.
Another stupid game.
I need to text it to
Oh,
you?
that was probably recorded.
Wait, what did Ash say?
I don't know.
I think he said this is a really stupid game. Digi
right.
evolve your differences.